and welcome to the computer game show. What was that for? What's that laugh for?
It is
quiet at the back.
It's an interesting... Okay, go on.
My name's David Turner. That's Matt Murray talking there.
Hello.
James Farley's in the corner.
All right.
And John Denton is in the middle doing a dance.
Yep.
Hello. And welcome to the show. Should we get straight into the feedback?
Yes, we shall.
Good.
On the subject of games, a big fan of mine, Toby Wakelin, has emailed in about a game we could do for the Rezzed live show. Possible game for Rezzed called Sponge or Brick. The host, Mr. Murray, goes first to show how it's done. He gets blindfolded, and the rest of the team have an object that they throw at Matt, and he has to decide whether it's a sponge or a brick. I think...
Sounds good to me. I like it.
Yep.
Have we got enough sponges?
No,
Have we got enough
we
sponges?
don't need any. We don't need any, mate.
Right, Ryan Man. Also, I liked your Metacritic game from a couple of weeks ago, but I feel it would be more fun with older or more esoteric games, such as like Turok 2 versus Crash 2, Jedi Outcast versus Monkey Island 2, Sonic 3 versus other stuff, etc., etc.
Is he mad? We struggled with the ones that everyone knew.
It's true.
Like doing that, that's not going to work.
No.
You're just scared because you don't think you'll win this one, James.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
I'll lose my crown.
Of reigning shit game champion. Mario Odyssey is the next subject. Junkyard Gary Dutton tweeting in, on the subject of 500 Moon Challenge, I've attempted a penguin bit about a dozen times and it never seems to work properly. He can do everything up to that point with his eyes closed, but it's a real dampener on the end of the game.
Firstly, there's no penguin in that. Now, I wouldn't point that out if it wasn't for the fact that Gary, for the past few weeks, has found it entertaining to just completely rip into the little things we get wrong on this show. So I will point out, it's not a penguin, Gary. Secondly, there's nothing wrong with that bit. I mean, it's ridiculously hard, but once you nail the timing down, the problem with that bit is that it's really hard for that point, because you've been playing for ages, getting through, but like, that whole level, and then you get to that and it completely ruins you. And it's really hard. But the only thing that I don't like is that when you get onto the final platform, the swinging platforms can push you off, and that's a bit annoying. But other than that, it's normal. It's fine.
What's the creature if it's not a penguin?
It's called a picker. I don't know. It's not a penguin though, is it?
It's definitely not a penguin. It looks more like a pigeon or something.
It's called a pokey or something. It's something like that. I can't remember the name of it. It's not a penguin.
Pokey, Gary. Get it right. It's not a penguin.
It's not even
pokey.
close to being a penguin, though, is it?
No.
It's not black and white to start. It's got a little hat on, and its beak extends.
So this isn't a real creature, I presume.
What?
Pokey. This is a fictional Mario character.
Yeah, Goombas aren't real either, mate. What do you think? Do you think Super Mario Odyssey is like a David Attenborough project?
Hold on. This isn't a real animal, is it?
No, but penguins are. But I'm just confused.
I'm quite confused. Caterpillars can't extend like that and then grab onto things with their little legs and then move their bum forward. What the fuck is going on here, John?
Look, he's got a job. He's a plumber. He's filmed some rough times, and now he's in this crazy land. But I just want to know, we said pokey. You said it as if we all should all know what a pokey is.
It's a pokio, apparently, according to the thing here.
There you go. Hey?
There you go, Gary.
It's definitely not a penguin. I mean, look at it. It's not anything like a penguin.
Also, Pokemon, mate, they don't exist. So, sorry about
that. Can we disagree it's Pokemon and not Pokemon?
It is Pokemon. I don't know why
every time you say
that.
I want to throw my phone in the...
Isn't it Pokemon?
Yeah, it is Pokemon. That's the whole thing. We've had a running thing on this show where Sean goes mental every time anyone says Pokemon. Because it's Pocket Monster.
Sounds like you're saying it wrong.
It's Pocket Monster.
I know, but that. Have you ever heard, watch like a Nintendo Direct. They never say, we got some new Pokemon games. They say Pokemon.
Yeah. Let's put it this way. It doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't really matter, does it?
That's definitely true.
No, it does. Let's have a 25-minute debate on this. It's annoying.
Next.
Bayonetta is the next subject. Ryan, I should stop saying that, but basically I've put little subjects in the doc. Ryan Hamann, back again. We talked about Bayonetta 1 2 and the fact that the Switch version is basically going to cost more than it came out on Wii U. Small correction from Ryan. Bayonetta 1 2 is the same pricing model as Switch as it did on Wii U. Other ports are the same price on Switch as Wii U, except Donkey Kong, which is $10 more on Switch than its launch price on Wii U. Captain Toad will remain $40. Additionally, Donkey Kong, since its launch on Wii U, has actually become a Nintendo Selects title for $20, so its Switch title is actually $40 more than the current Wii U MSRP.
I'm confused. What's the point being made here?
I don't understand what this is about.
I think it's not a little bit more expensive. It's quite a lot more expensive on Switch.
That's what that's what I was thinking. And, it's the same with... All right, Splatoon 2 was considered a sequel, but Splatoon 1 came out as a budget title, right, on Wii U. It wasn't a full-price game. I'm correct with that,
It was a full-price game. It's definitely a full-price game.
What, Splatoon 1 on the Wii U was a full-price game?
It wasn't a budget game.
All right, mate. I was asking the question more than anything else. That's how I remembered it. I'm sorry, I remembered it wrong. Sit back down. Let's all calm down.
That's okay, Dave. That's okay.
You had 2 beers, James. Have you had 2 beers?
Only 1 so far.
That's enough for you. That's like...
James, do you drink during the show?
Actually, I'm not drinking alcohol. I'm drinking Diet
He
Coke
drinks during the day,
Cherry.
Matt.
I was going to say. I thought this was downtime.
Right, okay, go on.
Crackdown. Oh, okay, no, forget that.
What? Why have you said that?
Don't worry about it. I skipped a tweet that was really important. Okay. Steve Garrett, I'm starting to worry for Matt Murray's safety with John Denton, but I can offer you to train you for the right price if required. Now, Steve Garrett signed up on Twitter. He's a follower. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. I'm thinking this 3 weeks to live show, I have a week boot camp with Steve. He makes me a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion, and we'll see what happens at a live show.
It sounded like you lost the thread of that as you were reading it.
Because you realised the reality of what you're saying. Now, Steve is legit. He's a judo guy. I don't know where he is on his BJJ, but I know he's legit. He's very legit.
Belt, mate,
no. Because he's legit, he knows full well that it doesn't matter 3 weeks, 3 years. It doesn't matter. It's not long enough. So, go ahead, have your crash course, Matt, and see what happens.
Oh, there'll be a crash. Cool. Yeah, okay, well, Steve,
that's how Matt, that was Matt thinking out loud then. It's not always Gleam, is it?
Okay, Neil Harmon, you lads are playing this big crackdown thing up like it's a huge thing. I don't intend to offend, but didn't everybody achieve this back in the day? I know myself and my mates did. Neil's obviously talking about this 500 orb challenge. Apparently, is piece of piss, Dave. You shouldn't be.
I mean, to be fair, this is the second week running that you've tried to. You should have slipped that into what you've been playing, because I've got Crackdown on my list, and it would have been better suited there. But it's the second week running that you've tried to make me talk about it early, so I'll do that. I found the 500 orb. I'm really, really happy about it. And then this guy comes along and goes, "Oh, that was easy." And I just thought, you motherfucker. I mean, I didn't find it easy. It was 10 years ago that I stopped looking for that thing. I found it this week, and oh my God, did it feel good to find it. Genuinely. It was someone from Reddit that pointed out, Maximus or something. If you're listening, thanks, man. He said, go and check out this area, because that's where I found my last one. And I searched that area for ages, couldn't find it, was about to give up. And I swear to God, if I'd have quit like 2 minutes earlier, then I wouldn't have gone back there for a long time, because I genuinely thought that I'd been everywhere in that area. And then just as I was jumping out the corner of my eye, saw that little green orb, and the nightmare was over. And I had that situation where everyone in the chat was going, "Now time to find the hidden orbs," and I just turned the Twitch off. I just went, nope.
I turned the Twitch off.
I turned the Twitch off.
I was actually watching that live, and it was quite good, because I think you saw out the corner of your eye, then you turn around and said, "Okay, guys, I think it's there. I'm going to turn around slowly." It's like you'd seen like an enemy or a monster in like a horror film. You're like, okay.
Well,
is it there?
my showmanship come out during that bit. I thought, I know what'll make this good if I slowly reveal it. And I thought it made for quite entertaining viewing. I don't know about you. The chat was going mental. It was great. It was great. A lot more entertaining than watching someone grind souls in Dark Souls, some might say. Some might say that. I'm one of them. Next.
Oh, well, Life is Strange, one of arguably the greatest games of the last few years. I can happily talk about it every single week. Adam Turner, I stand in solidarity with John regarding the amount of Life is Strange chat. David, Matt and James, please shut up about Life is Strange. I love the show and love to hear your views, but Life is Strange talk has by far surpassed the Titanfall 2 chat, which Matt complained about and moaned about more than the actual time spent talking about Titanfall 2. Love the show, looking forward to Res, blah, 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 blah.
The thing is, the new episodes come out all the time. So and we all play it. So
we need
can't
to do
talk about it?
one opinion from every single person every single week for every single episode, of course, because that's really entertaining. That's what everybody who tunes into the show for.
Do not worry about it. We are not going to talk about that game for at least 20 minutes.
What annoys me is that the new boy's come in. He's trying to produce the show. Next feedback.
No. Okay, it's fine. Question: does everybody enjoy hearing about Life is Strange every single week forever?
I'm loving it.
I'm really enjoying it.
No. You guys aren't the audience. You're the fucking idiots doing it. I want to hear from the people who listen. The creators of what? The creators of the fucking noise on Life is Strange. Oh, we haven't even got to the stupid game yet. I'm already wound up.
Podcast, John. Let's give you a second chance in life.
You fucking wanted to come on.
Yeah, let's give you a second chance in life. Like, people forget, like, your podcast was many years ago.
Mate, you're treading a fine line now. I'll put up with Dave. You're on the edge, boy.
God.
Yeah, we pulled you back into the limelight, John.
Matt, drop it. I'm telling you for your own safety now, drop it. Let's move on.
Keep going, go on.
Yeah. Literally going to get his neck snapped.
Splatoon 2. I'd
love to see that. Not the neck snapping, but just the sleeper thing. I want to see that. I think it'd be great.
Yeah, I'm on
Can we
for
go
that.
on the show, please? Luke Summerhays, on the latest show you had some chat about Splatoon 2's Octo expansion DLC. You were wondering if people cared enough, so I thought I'd give you my 2 cents from someone more invested in Splatoon community. On Facebook groups and stuff, playable Octolings are actually something people have been asking for since the first game. The conversation came up about Splatoon 2 when it's on the horizon. Everyone's dead psyched for it now. The other angle I can give you is from the Japanese viewpoint. It really is as big over here. I presume Luke's over there. It really is as big over here.
Japan! Go on.
As you hear, Splatoon has a big selection in every toy shop. The manga is showing up in window displays. The games and amiibo and gear have more space in the game shops than even Mario and Zelda. It's properly huge. People recognise my Splatoon hoodie and tell me that they play. There are Splatoon Kinder Eggs in the stores. Luke went to the esports final, and Pearl Marina, there was a huge hologram concert. There are literally thousands of people getting well into it. Yeah,
people are giving birth to Splatoon children. And they're firing their kids huge, right into a Splatoon shop
with Pearl on and Marina. It is huge. People do enjoy the characters and the campaign as well as the multiplayer larks. I can see why it took up so much time in Direct and why Nintendo are confident people will lay down the cash. Enjoy the year of the Octoling.
I think you made that point last week, didn't you guys? It just showed that I was a bit out of touch with how popular that game is around the world. So, and immediately I went, okay, I got it wrong. So we didn't need that, but now we know that you're in Japan because you want everyone to know. And there's Splatoon everywhere in Japan. There's Splatoon. People love those fucking things. So good for Nintendo. Good for them. Next.
Yeah. Dangleberries. 24 minutes and 1 second of the latest episode. Matt pauses a sentence to audibly float an air biscuit.
20. What is it? 23 minutes and what?
I think it's 1 hour, 24 minutes and 1 second.
No, I don't think it is. I think it's 24 minutes and 1 second.
All
right, we'll leave this. So the idea is, someone just pointed this out on Twitter, that Matt pauses during a sentence to do a massive fart and then continues, right?
Can I argue my case? No.
Let's hear the clip and you can judge at home. Ready?
But I think multiple times is probably one of the ones that you can get. But PlayStation
Does
4...
Xbox Live work over there then?
Yeah, they've got their own version.
Or is it separate?
Yeah,
So it's their own version again, it's all regulated.
I'm presuming it's walled off. I mean, I don't know because I've not used it since... I mean, when I was there, I used to just connect to UK servers anyway, which is why the lag was awful. But, I'm not so sure.
Also, it's done this within just 5 weeks, which is crazy.
That definitely sounds like it.
What else is that?
It's a creaky chair, but that definitely sounds like a fart. But I wouldn't. If I was going to fart, I would continue talking to drown out the sound. I wouldn't stop.
There's only one way to properly listen to this.
Also, it's done this within just 5 weeks.
God, that is horrific. Matt, you're the new Trumper. You really are taking everything off of James and putting it on yourself now, aren't you? Farting through the show, being a prick. Sorry, James.
I'm the new Donald Trump. Yeah, but it wasn't 3 hours of it, you know what I mean?
Good point.
I told you, they don't... Oh, go on, move on.
Well,
I'm not throwing stones.
Don't what, James?
Nothing.
Don't fart for 3 hours. No, I wasn't going to. But right, I may have done a meme over the weekend on Twitter. We had some feedback. Adam Turner, stand by while the Computer Game Pod review their social media policy. A restructure from the top down may be needed. Bino, Matt, I've just come home from work and this is the first tweet I've seen. Apologies. What
was the meme?
Yeah, you need to explain it.
Ridiculous.
Oh, yes.
Was it the Yoda's bolted or something? It made zero sense. Explain what it was first.
Well, so basically there's a tweet, and basically, this should be in news actually, but it isn't, so whatever. But basically the news is that EA are going to pull all loot boxes and microtransactions from Battlefront 2.
Right.
And I thought of the phrase, closing the barn door after the horse is bolted, or whatever that phrase is. And I thought,
you certainly didn't know the phrase. So
no,
that's the first point.
Didn't. No, I didn't. And so I thought, okay, I'll exchange like door for hatch, and I'll exchange like horse for Yoda, and I put something
Why did you exchange door for hatch?
Because hatch is more of a Star Wars term than barn door.
Oh, I
hatch
suppose.
is we all know that famous Star Wars quote. Close the hatch.
Close the hatch.
What I also liked about it was the way that the other people corrected it and said you could have said other things that could have bolted instead of Yoda, which makes no sense at all.
I mean, I don't know nothing about that. I don't know about Star Wars, but close the hatch.
Yeah, other people were saying you should have said, well, actually, you should say closing the blast door after the Torn has bolted. I mean, but I don't know what that is. I just chose Yoda because I thought it'd be funny Yoda bolting.
How do you not know what that is? You're all about Star Wars.
Yeah, but I haven't read a fucking encyclopedia about it.
Oh, anyway, come off it. It's in Empire Strikes Back, Matt.
Yeah, I don't like Star Wars. And
that's the nerdiest I've ever heard you. That's the nerdiest I've ever heard you, James. Come off it. It's in Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, you call yourself a fan, Matt. You're always like, I've got to go and see it as soon as it comes out and everything. You don't know anything, do you? It's just,
Yes, I know that phrase about the hatch.
Well, we all know Matt. He leaves after about 20 minutes when he goes to see it at the cinema. Right, okay.
I had loads of tweets about it, but my best one was from Luke Cage H4H. Why are you like this? That was my favourite by far.
I mean, that's a question we've all asked you at some point, and we haven't really had a solid reply yet.
He also did suggest that maybe Matt should be removed from this position for a while. He's not allowed to post any memes or anything. Someone else should do it.
But the thing is, no one else wants to do it.
I've been off injury for a while, to be fair.
If no one else wants to do it, why don't we just not do it? That'd be better.
Because we've got to be on Twitter and that, haven't we? Because
we can be on Twitter, but not with rubbish memes. Just good content.
The memes could cut down. It is a bit embarrassing.
I've cut down drastically since you mugged me off for that. That was the first one I've done in a long time.
Well, how did it work out?
Well, poorly, because I'm out of practice.
Well, there we go then.
It wasn't a meme anyway.
I had at least two of me today. I was like, shall I? I was like, no, they're not going to get it. It's not even worth it.
Okay. Right, is that it for feedback?
That's very much it for feedback. If you want to tweet us, it's at Computer Game Pod on Twitter, or you can email your feedback or any suggestions or thoughts about my quality content or anyone else's to thecomputergameshow@gmail.com.
We're going to go live on the scene now. The video game scene. We're in the video game scene. We're going live to our reporter, James Farley. What's happening there in the Mushroom Kingdom? James.
I've got some great news for you, Dave.
God, I'm up for this, mate. I can't wait to hear the fucking news, boy.
So, first bit of news is that the Switch has been updated to version 5.
Yes! 5 sounds like a big number. This is going to be massive. I cannot wait to see what's in this.
It does. I mean, it sounds like... 5 is a pretty big number, so you'd think they'd have a lot of good stuff. But what they've done is they've added Facebook and Twitter contacts, so you can add friends, even though that's still largely pointless. And also, if you download stuff from the store, it will download more quickly than before. And if you have a Switch Pro controller, in the menu, it will now show what colour it is.
Good.
And, that's it.
Okay.
That's the thing.
When I got the update, or when I saw tweets about version 5, I was like, oh wow, 5, it's just going to have Netflix.
Were you really? Were you really?
Well, no.
Were you really going, version 5, yeah? Like, I didn't. I don't even remember version 2, 3, or 4. Like, I don't remember anything like that.
No, but I thought, okay, version 5, maybe this was going to have like Netflix, maybe this have like some UI changes, maybe, or have video recording for video streaming, or video recording for every game. No, it was just nothing.
I think it's because it's been like a year, and I think people were expecting they'd have added like a few different things to it by now. Like,
oh man, people are fucking insane now, aren't they?
No, this is the thing. I mean, people are inevitably angry about this, but they wanted like system themes, folders. I don't know why, but some people seem to be expecting Virtual Console was just going to be launched suddenly with no previous. I want to get
someone from Nintendo, right, and one of these people to sit in a room and talk it through, and I want to record it and put it on the internet, because the conversation would go, why hasn't it got this? Oh, because it's not ready yet. We're not going to roll that out. But it's 5, right? Okay,
it's a big number.
It's number 5. Okay,
that's how software updates work. For every other company in the world.
Okay, what? Matt, it's just nonsense. We talk about this whole,
I'd love to be able to get angry about this. Imagine your life was so beautiful. Imagine your life was so beautiful that you got angry about this. Oh.
But it's number 5!
You should be frothing with rage over this. It's like, you've updated it. Where's my Virtual Console?
I just imagine a guy from Nintendo with his head in his hand saying, so if we called it 4.9, would that have been better? Yes, because it's not 5! Okay, we'll just call it 4.9 yourself, and that'll calm you down a bit, right? No, but you've called it 5. I can't believe you've called it 5. Oh, mate, people are just getting weirder and weirder by the day. Yeah, I can't relate to this at all.
Dave, right. So when Apple announces like iOS 11 or whatever, if they're like, you can add some contacts, would you not be like, that's a bit disappointing?
I don't give a fuck. To be quite honest, Matt, I'm being straight up.
Dave,
could not give a shit.
I'm so with you, mate.
If they say the update's got this, this, and this, I'll go, that sounds really cool. But if they go, this is update 10, and it only lets you do this, I'll go, okay, is that what it's going to do? Fine.
I wouldn't have even noticed because I'm fucking busy.
No, I would have got the notifications several times. Please update your iPhone. Remind me tomorrow. That is what I click all the time. Remind me tomorrow. Do it overnight or something when it's charging. That honestly, Matt, I swear to God, I cannot believe you get angry about this.
I'm not angry. I mean, I
sound angry. Your voice is wobbling. There's a bit of emotion in your voice.
Just disappointed.
Okay, Matt's disappointed. Next.
Okay, and Toys R Us are done. So yeah, this is the other story, because like Maplin's and other ones, they've apparently all 105 UK stores are going to be closed and 3,000 jobs have been lost, which is really awful and sad.
This is in the news section because they sell games, right? But I don't think I've ever bought a game from Toys R Us. I think I did once when I was about 4, so it doesn't really affect me in a gaming level.
Just wander down to Toys R Us when you were 4 to get a game.
No, my mum and dad would have taken me, wouldn't they?
Manhunt 2.
Parents would have taken me somewhere, wouldn't they?
Oh no, 4-year-old Dave leaving house. Bye, Mum. Let's get on the bus.
Where have you've hold on? You've made that up completely, forgetting the fact that my parents would have taken me, and then just rolled with it. Where's this going?
It was just funny to me, the image of it.
Yeah, little David Turner's little polo shirt.
Yeah. See you later, Mum.
Got my £2.
No, that didn't happen. But that is sad, isn't it? I think these big names just keep dropping left, right, and centre. Yes, I
heard something about this.
Go on.
Well, I will. Basically, apparently, a few years ago.
Imagine if that was the end of the sentence. I've heard something about this. Next news story.
Whether it's 10, 15 years ago, I'm not too sure, but Toys R Us, as a business, decided to let Amazon fulfill all their online orders rather than going into online business themselves, because they didn't believe in online as a marketplace. So apparently people got used to buying their toys from Amazon and through Toys R Us, and obviously, that's where people buy toys. They don't go into the store, and they basically just made a massive, massive fuck up and then never evolved from there. So it's
imagine
sad.
Being that guy.
Yeah.
It's that, and it's also, apparently, not so long ago, they had £580 million loan that they moved to a tax haven like just before this happened, and now tax experts are looking for it because they wrote off like $484 million dollars or whatever. Yeah. And it's that's probably also where a lot of the money went. It's a bit suspicious.
Yeah. Also, I mean, Toys R Us, they have like massive out of town stores. Like the rent for those must cost a bomb. Whereas you look at someone like Smiths, who are much smaller retail places, they're also all over the place, and it also feels like there's way more stock in like a Smiths toys than in like a Toys R Us.
Yeah, but I'd have thought like Smiths stuff would have been more expensive because it's like in the town centre, isn't it? Like in the prime
None
real
of us
estate
know
area.
about retail, do we? None of us know about it. This is nonsense talk. But yeah, no, it's sad. And as I said, that must have been everyone looking at the guy that went, I don't see internet shopping taking off. They must be looking at him now going, yeah, cheers for that, mate. Great. You didn't think that, no? Brilliant. That's it. Business end. But yeah,
that's what I said at the meeting. Business end.
Business end. And then the door slam shut. I've got the only thing that's really weird is that it's getting places that are selling games are getting fewer and fewer, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite depressing.
Poundland. They've just expanded, haven't
they? There's a Poundland in my high street, and I ain't seen any games in there yet.
I think it starts end of March, isn't it? I think that's what it said.
No, they got them in down where I live. They got them, and
someone sent me a photo of a Poundland, and it is just FIFAs, like loads of FIFAs with different numbers at the end.
Get in there, Lid.
I was in heaven. It was like, go down there.
Next news story.
Okay, so Drake has streamed Fortnite and broken some Twitch records. I mean, I put this in for Matt.
This is really weird as well, because, I mean, this sort of happened, what was it, last week?
Yeah, I mean, he played with pro gamer Tyler Ninja, is it Blevins?
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, just call him Ninja.
Okay, and they had a peak of 628,000 concurrent viewers. The previous record was 388,000, so it's pretty big, obviously.
Which was set by me.
And the guy Ninja, apparently at the end, he said that was pretty lit, man, about as lit as it can get. So
that sounds like Matt.
Yeah.
Because John and I have been chatting during the week, and there was because that wasn't the only thing that happened. Around the same time, Matt changed his opinion of Fortnite and said, suddenly, no, it is good, and it's not just ripping off PUBG. And PUBG's
I didn't say it, of course it's ripping off PUBG. I've just thought, if Drizzy's playing
you went from
maybe
not
I'll
giving a
get
shit
involved.
about Fortnite to suddenly being obsessed with Fortnite in about the space of time it took Drake to play Fortnite, which I thought was a bit strange.
It's just a really funny coincidence. I mean, me and Drizzy were just, he played, I played. We all playing together, it's fine.
That is just, he gets his opinion from that stuff, doesn't it? That's it. He just, what are they saying now? Well, that is a good game, okay. I think that's a good game too. Goodbye, what are they? They're on electronic skateboards, are they? I'm going to go and get an electronic skateboard too. What's next? What should I do today? Instagram?
That is basically how I live my life. Not even complaining.
God. Go on. Fine.
Okay, and then the final story we got is Battlegrounds is coming to mobile. So Fortnite has obviously done pretty well. So now this is up on the US store now, because Matt edited my story, which I wasn't very happy about again.
What did he do?
He changed it. It's like I had it on there saying that it was up on the Canadian store. He didn't even delete it. He just crossed it out to make a point. To be like, no, this is out of date now, even though I've only written it a couple of hours ago.
Well, yeah, because the news story was entitled PUBG is coming to the App Store, but PUBG is now out on the App Store, so I just thought I'd help you out there.
It's not out on the UK App Store, is it?
But by the time Wednesday comes around, it probably will be. It's only out on the US Store.
Well, maybe, but we'll see.
James, can you look at it like this, right? We're an organisation. I'm the boss, right? Clearly. You're head of the news department, Michael. Matt is head of. Sorry, I forget your name. Matt is head of the social media stuff.
Call me Michael.
I did, yeah. That's the first time I've done
Michael
that.
Fox.
I don't know where that come from. Matt is head of social media. John is the new guy, but he's doing well.
I don't work for you,
probation.
Mate.
He's doing well.
I'm an independent contractor. I don't fucking work for you.
You do.
We're not paying those sorts of money. No, John, you're an intern.
He's head of the post room.
What is the point to this? Can you just get to the point?
What I'm saying,
your fucking head around the wrong way if you keep this up, Matt.
What I'm saying is, James,
I can hear you. James is talking.
don't moan and bitch to the boss, right, because he's got better things to do. If you've got a problem with Matt stepping out of his department and fucking around with yours, you need to take action against Matt. So are you going to tell him now what you want from him?
Yeah, James,
you're going to put your foot down? Hold on, Matt. Hold on. Let's be quiet, right? James, take control of your department.
I'm going to start editing your feedback.
No, that's not how it works, is it, James? That is the worst decision. You can't just say, well, I've got to fuck your stuff up. We're in an organisation here. You're supposed to say, step back, don't mess around with my department anymore.
Right, keep out of my news, Matt, is all I'm saying. Just keep out of it. It's my news.
I mean, I was helping you, as an organisation, helping
that was
each
pathetic.
Other.
If you want to help him, you come to me and ask if you can help Matt. All right?
Okay, boss. I don't think James was doing his job properly because he didn't even include the news that Battlefront 2 is going to rip out all his
transactions. Nobody wants to talk about loot crates again. It's really boring. Everyone knows all about it. There's no point in talking about it.
Okay, well, I'm really glad we had the Toys R Us is done segment. That was really relevant.
Well, yeah, it affected a lot of people.
So PUBG's out on mobile, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, okay, so this version was originally developed under the name, it's PUBG Exhilarating Battlefield, and this was for the Chinese market originally, but it's supposed to be very faithful to the original game, has the same map, etc. I mean, so Matt, you've been all over Fortnite, obviously because of Drake.
Yeah, me and Drake and a few other people have, whatever. Yep.
Are you going to go for this on mobile as well, or have you just shifted over to Fortnite now?
I'll definitely. I've always hated PUBG, actually, wankers. No, I'll definitely try out. Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about Fortnite on mobile in a bit, but that's really, really, really good. So I'm really interested to see what this is like.
John, okay. I must admit, you are impressing the boss, and you might get a move out of that post room soon. Yeah, I don't care. I don't want to play these games on mobile. I don't want to play them on mobile. I think it's very, very, very impressive that they've got it running on these things. But if I'm playing a game on my mobile or using the internet or whatever, it's going to be on the Switch. I'm going to be just playing Rocket League, so I've got no interest in holding my phone and trying to use it as a gaming thing like that. It doesn't concern me. That's my opinion.
Especially if it's cross-platform with PC and all that sort of stuff. How on earth can you be competitive?
Well, we spoke about this last week. Yeah, you won't be.
You'd have to be like mobile and mobile, etc.
Yep. You've been playing the Fortnite one, right? We'll get to your impression soon. But has it got controller support?
Not yet, but it is coming.
Right, it is coming. Okay, fine. Is that it for the news?
That's it. Yeah,
that's it. Let's get on to what you've been playing, and let's start with you, Matt, because it is relevant. We're talking about it. Let's go.
Yes, I've been playing Life is Strange. It's an incredible... No, I've been playing Fortnite on iOS. Actually, so Fortnite's getting popular, so I thought I would start playing it on the Xbox. I played a night or two on Xbox. It was really good fun. Played a bit with John. That was that, and then it came out on phone, and I was away this weekend, so I downloaded it. I wasn't expecting much, of course, but I'm actually really impressed with what it is and how well it plays on phone.
Before we get to the phone, I think we should talk about that night that we played Fortnite together on Xbox, because I want to know what the fuck was going on with you that night.
When was that? Was that Friday night?
No, it was before that, wasn't
Thursday.
It? Thursday night.
So it's John, Matt, and
yourself.
You. And myself, and John, Matt, and you.
John, Matt, and you, David. You were playing.
And what? We were playing with a random, right?
Yeah, it was just some random guy, but because you can't do 3-man squad in
That's
Fortnite.
Right.
But but we had a really good game. We had a couple where we died at the beginning and stuff, where we just trying to remember how to play and the differences between that and PUBG, whatever. And then we had decent game where we started well. I think we maybe got a kill early doors, got some good loot, and started moving towards the end game. And it was like 30 left, 20 left, 15 left, and we're like, okay, we're in good position here. I think all 4 of us were still alive. And then we start to get behind a tree and think, okay, it's 10 left, what are we going to do? And then it's like, Matt, what are you doing? What are you doing? And you're like, I'm in the blue. Oh, I'm dead. And you just walked out into the storm. I still don't know, right?
It was so. We've said this about Matt so many times. When you're playing a game like this, it's the same with PUBG, it's the same with Fortnite. You all stick together because if you come up against another team, you want all your team together to sort of help you out. Even if it's just to flank them or to add some covering fire, you need to stick together. Matt just fucks off and does his own thing. I don't know why. I don't know what that is about your personality that makes you go and do that, Matt.
I don't know why you do it into the bit that kills you. It didn't make any sense. It's not like, but you mean you have chicken dinners on PUBG. That's why I couldn't understand. Like I think you've won a solo game on PUBG, which is like, I've never done that. Yeah. So what the fuck happened? And then in the next game, we got near the end game again. I think there was maybe 20 left, and we were in a decent state. We had some decent guns. We got into a gunfight. I think Dave went down. I went down. And we were like, Matt, where are you? And you're like, I'm close. And we looked on the map, and it's like, you're not close.
You're nowhere near us. Yeah, I was crawling on the floor, saying, Matt, they've run off and they've left me. Matt, I'm the other side. Where are you? I'm right next to you. No, I look at the map and you are 2 miles away. What are you doing? All you needed to do was just, if you were close, you could have just helped me up and we could have continued. But instead, you were 2 miles away. Go on.
It might be that you were too far away from me and not the other way around.
Well, it wasn't, though, because I was with John.
And the other guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, the first one, my reasoning for it, and I don't really need to explain myself, but I will because we're here, is that I had shit guns. So, we're all running to now what I see is the location we had to be in. I thought, on the way, I'll just detour into this building, quickly loot it, and run off.
He's a selfish gamer when it comes to team games. He wants to do his own thing. Like, it's the same with PUBG. He wouldn't go to the houses and stick together like we were because he wanted to go off and just get all the loot from another house, which would always fuck over the team. Like, it happened on PUBG all the time. It did. We got a stream of it where I said...
we got a stream of it, did we? That's hardly always.
There's a stream that we were all playing, the 4 of us were playing, and I turned around and all the viewers could see your screen, they couldn't see mine. And I said, look, if there's anything better than just a shotgun, can you let me know? You walked in, saw an automatic rifle, picked up the ammo, and walked off and didn't say a word to me, like there's a good gun in there. You just fucked off. Because you are the most selfish gamer when it comes to team games. It's unreal.
Well, it's certainly not malicious. It's just what I'm doing in the moment. I can't control it.
Pathetic.
That sounds malicious. That sounds malicious.
It's not malicious.
okay, fine. Go on.
Anyway, who did you fuck over on iOS?
Very little people, because it my god, the controls are fiddly to say the least, and the on-screen buttons all seem to be in most of them seem in quite strange locations. Like there's basically like the jump button is right next to shoot, for instance. So if you're trying to jump, maybe if you're trying to like get over some like so something in the environment, you might accidentally say like shoot, which I've done countless times where I've been trying to be stealthy and then I've
is that because people always bounce around in gunfights in that game?
Possibly, but I sort of wish I could swap it on the other side. There's also a button for like there's actually a button for like fire, but then you can just tap the screen anywhere for fire. So anyway, the controls are definitely fiddly. I've got to I've played like 30 odd, I think like 39 games with like squad mode on the phone, and I've got to like the top 5 or top 10, certainly top like 15, like tons and tons of times. And in my head I'm thinking, wow, god, if I was playing on say like on Xbox or on a console, I probably would have won. It's just I fucked up because the controls are so bad and it's like fiddly trying to use sniper rifle and stuff. But then also if I was playing on console, everyone else would be much better, and I wouldn't have even got to the top 10. So
at least you understand that part.
Yeah. Well, I was just finishing that sentence, John. So yeah. It's but I'm having immense fun with it, and the fact that it syncs over between Xbox and iOS is great. I bought the £10 battle pass, and that means you get to collect the loot or some extra items that you find, and you can earn different things. And I bought that on iOS, and yeah, all that synced over to my account on Xbox. It hasn't synced like my statistics, like number of games and wins and whatnot, but it's synced my battle pass, the things I've earned. V-Bucks is this currency which you can buy or earn, and that's locked to the platform you earn or buy them on. But apart from that, everything else syncs over, and it's it's really fun. I played this morning on the train and then walked through town, still playing it. And
what, over 3G?
Yeah, 4G, yeah.
4G. And it still runs fine. There's no lag or anything.
No. It's absolutely fine. Yeah. So I play it on the train and then walking through town. I played some at lunch, and I came I got down to the final 3, me and 2 other people in one other squad, and I lost, and I was like shaking for half an hour because the tension was unbearable. On that, I had like a
half an hour.
Yeah, you might want to go to the doctor about that, Matt. That does not sound normal.
There was something wrong with me for half an hour. I was all over the shop. Anyway, but I basically lost that because I fucked it with the controls, and also my hands were shaking. But yeah, no, I'm really impressed with it.
You're impressed, but the thing that I don't get is that in what situation would you want to play it? I mean, I guess if it works fine over 4G, then I get it a little bit more. But I can't imagine a situation where I'd want to play a game like that with those controls. I don't get it. Like, I'd rather have my Switch with me with proper controls, proper portable game.
Yeah, I went away and I took my Switch and I thought, okay, I'll probably just get Celeste finished with. But then I got this on the Friday or whenever it was, and I just played this with every opportunity I had, really. But one of the things I want to talk about is the fact that I was playing it on 4G, and one of the nights, I think I'd Jill gone to bed, and I was laying in bed playing it. I was playing it on Wi-Fi against other people online. I had like my headphones in to hear game audio, and it felt like futuristic's probably the wrong word, but it felt quite cool to be able to play this game on my phone, you know, and play against other people just like that without needing another console.
See, I just don't understand this at all. Like, you've got all these games on like Switch, like Celeste and stuff, and you'd rather play like a poorly controlling game on a mobile phone with like hand cramp and stuff, just because Drake has.
It's fun to play. It's fun to play. But what I wanted to talk about is like the fact that obviously now Xbox has updated this app, so the Xbox Live app now has parties in the app, and I could totally imagine us playing, you know, this on phones or a game like this on phones, but then also with the Xbox app in the background, you know, using that for party chat. And and I know that last week the guy from Epic said he thought this game was the future and how it's done. And I don't know, part of me is inclined to believe him. It was just really cool, the fact that I could play it on my phone. I wasn't communicating with them because I was playing against randoms, but play it online, no lag. It works exactly the same as the Xbox One does, apart from obviously the weird controls. And then I can just play on my Xbox, and everything I've earned up to that point is there, synced, and it felt quite cool, actually.
But I mean, you were pretty against Nintendo when they did their app party stuff.
Yeah, but this works though, because I've tried this over the weekend, and it works really, really well. It's like significantly better than the Nintendo one. Like, you can start it up and even like start a party and then just like invite people whether they're online or not, and then the sound quality is great. I was playing on Friday because we were playing Rainbow Six, and one of like our group is in America on like a trip, and he was in a bar and he just like connected into our party chat. I mean, he's a fun guy, obviously, but it was it works really, really well.
Was that Spectre?
No, it's Exorus.
Oh, right, okay. No, I guess. That's the thing. I mean, I can't see it replacing, like, I'd still much rather be connected to the console, but if you could connect to your friends and chat to them, I mean, we said that at the time, we could see that working. If it combined with the console party chat stuff, then I understand it a lot more. It's just when, you know, Nintendo try and force you to use it rather than anything connected to your console that it seems to be a complete joke. But
and the fact on Switch that that's your only option, and it's just so bad that, I mean, I haven't even got the Switch app on my phone anymore, like, since getting my new phone. I also haven't got Splatoon, which is the only game that's actually using it. But yeah, either way, I've been very impressed by Fortnite. I'm definitely eager to see what PUBG's like on mobile. But yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm just enjoying Fortnite generally.
Very interesting. What a twist that is. After
can I say, we all said it's shocking that they copied. I wasn't exactly alone in that.
No, but like every time the story come up, you were like, yeah, but this is a bit of a bubble. You know, PUBG has got this amount of things, and that's just Fortnite is just a fraction of that, and I don't think they'll be able to maintain it, and blah blah blah. You were very negative on that game.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, and now it's
John's been championing it for years, and it would appear that you respect Drake's opinion more than John's. That's just, as an outsider, that's what it feels like.
John, you need to get an electric skateboard.
Drake, I don't think Drake has an electric skateboard, to be fair. Metal ditches electric skateboard now. He'll just get a big puffy jacket and start dancing with his hands by his ears.
I've just listed it on eBay.
I could hear it just landing in a skip as you finish that sentence, John. Go on. Okay, is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I started playing a bit of Sea of Thieves, but nothing to talk about.
Yeah, that's out tomorrow as we record. We're all very excited to play that this weekend. I'm pumped for that game.
Yeah, that's
fine.
Gonna be good.
Okay, cool. James, what you got for us?
I've got a bunch of stuff because I played quite a bit this week. The first thing I got Kirby on Saturday, which I got mostly for the children because they really liked the demo, and I thought, okay, we'll give it a go. Yeah. The kids are really enjoying it. I can't really say that I am massively because, the problem I've got with it is like every time I finish a level with it, I kind of feel like I don't want to continue. Like I don't feel like I want to do what I've just done again.
Traditionally a problem, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a big problem with it, and I think part of the big problem with it is that there's so little challenge, and I know that that's the point of these games. Like, I know that Kirby games are like easy; they're like like a really like simple like mechanics and everything. But I don't know. I just didn't. I'm just not finding it very interesting so far. Is the problem? I really like they have all like the ability combinations, so you can like. You suck up an enemy, and then you can combine it with another thing so that you can, solve a puzzle or whatever. But it's always like really obvious, like what you need to do. But as I said, the children, like my kids, are really enjoying it. Like they were playing it together, just like on their own. And this is why I can't get rid of it now because they want to play it, and yeah. I'm just.
I understand what you're saying, and I'll tell you why. Because Harry has been absolutely obsessed with the demo. He's completed it for God knows how many times, and when he completes it, he just restarts the level and does it all again. He adores this game, right, based on the demo. And I'm in a situation now where, although I wasn't really interested in Mario and Rabbids, I decided to get it for Harry more than myself because I wasn't really that bothered by it. It's not the sort of game that I play, but there was still part of me saying, well, there's something there that I can play in, but maybe I will enjoy it, and I've enjoyed it here and there. It's not blown me away. But he's been enjoying the cutscenes and the wandering about, and I've been doing the bits for him. This is the first game that he's completely obsessed with that I've got zero interest in playing because I've played co-op with him a few times on it, and I'm just like, I'm not getting anything out of this. I'm not particularly enjoying it. The first time I went through it, I thought, oh, this is nice, but it's not really my thing.
Right,
So I think I'm at a point now. Like he's been saying that he's not really into Mario Rabbids. I said to him, well, if you don't, if you want Kirby more, then we could sell Mario and Rabbids and get Kirby, right, and put it towards that. And he likes that idea. But this will be the first game that I buy solely for him. You know what I mean? Flat out for him. And that's, I suppose that's a good thing. Not all games have to be for me. There's got to be some games that are aimed at kids. And Mario does that wonderful thing of bridging the gap where adults can get into it, but also it's easy enough for kids to a certain extent. But this one just seems like it would be his game. So I'm probably going to buy it eventually. The £60 they're asking for it on the eShop is a total fucking piss take. Yeah, 60 on the eShop.
I paid like 38, I think. I just bought.
Was it
50 on eShop? It's 50.
50. Well, still 50 quid for that.
It is. It's a hell of a lot.
But think of all those gold coins you can get from that.
Good point. But yeah, as you say, like it's 40 on Amazon or whatever. So, chances are we will pick it up in the near future. But yeah, no, I'm with you, James. Like I can't see myself getting anything out of it other than watching him play. And like he's loving it, absolutely loving it. So great, brilliant. I'll stick that on.
This is what I said, like with my children, it's just, I don't know, I just feel, I'm just obviously, I'm not the target audience for this, and that's fine. It's just, they're really liking it. One of the things I don't like about it is that it often feels like Smash Brothers, like as in it gets like really chaotic with like having so much on the screen at once. I don't like that so much.
You love Smash Brothers, so what's the difference?
I don't know. I think it's maybe with Smash Brothers, it's like I find the characters easier to follow, like where you are, because they're usually pretty different, like the character designs. But this often you have stuff on the screen, everything looks the same. Like you can have like all of your allies can like look very, very similar, so it's kind of difficult to pick up what's going on.
Which I think is important to point out as well, because I felt that when I played the demo, I was like, this is way too chaotic. Like, I'm struggling to keep track of even where my character is. And when I'm playing co-op with Harry, it's exactly the same. I'm kind of like, I sort of lose focus for a second, and then all of a sudden I don't even know where I am. I'm just hitting buttons. However, Harry really seems to be able to keep track of it. Yeah. And I find that really strange, because it's like, it's like he's better than me at it. It's like, what the fuck? It's weird how he's able to zone in. Have you found that, John?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Elliot, he got it on Friday after school, and he said, right, I'm going to set myself a challenge. I'm going to finish this whole game this weekend. And I was like, all right. And he'd finished it by lunchtime on Saturday, just absolutely smashed the shit out of it. I haven't played it, to be honest, because I played enough of the demo and I don't really like it. But yeah, he fucking loves it. He's finished it. He's onto the second file. He's going to finish it again soon. He's doing all the extra little modes and things. There's all sorts of weird shit in there once you finish it. Yeah, but I think he's definitely better at it than I would be if we both played. Because like you, I struggle to keep up and try and discern the different characters from each other. It's all just a bit too chaotic for my eyes, and I think my brain also really doesn't want to look at it that much. But yeah, he absolutely loves it. He's just smashed the shit out of it.
Stick that on the box. My brain doesn't want to look at it that much. It must be doing something right then, because every kid that I know that's got a Switch has downloaded the demo and is in love with it. But it's just not for us, is it?
It's gone in at number 2 in the charts as well.
Yeah, so fucking smashing it. It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like
Harry didn't know what Kirby was.
Kirby sales ever, or something, or a sentence that makes sense. That has the same words in it.
Best Kirby sales,
Best
definitely.
Kirby sales ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I mean, I'll play some more of it, but I don't know, just not really getting much out of it myself. But kids love it, so there you go.
It's weird, isn't it? Like, I didn't think Kirby was a massive character. I didn't think Harry would be interested in him in Kirby at all. But he's obsessed, like absolutely obsessed. It's weird. All right, okay.
So I've also played on the weekend. I played Rainbow Six Siege Outbreak.
I've been meaning to play this for ages.
It's good. I mean, it's basically. I mean, superficially, it's like kind of like Left 4 Dead in like a sort of co-op way, but it doesn't really feel. It really still very much feels like Rainbow Six Siege. And actually, the more I think about it, the more it feels like a reskin of like the regular game, but with more aggressive like enemies. Really,
right? Okay, so like Terrorist Hunt, but
yeah. With them, I mean, they instead of like terrorists sort of like hiding and stuff, they just like come straight at you and sort of attack you and stuff. And it's fun, but my team was rubbish and we couldn't finish a single mission. So that's probably just because we're rubbish. And I mean, it's you use all like the tools that you have in Rainbow Six Siege, like like the barricading and stuff like that. So like in the other one, like you have to do things like defuse a bomb, and while there's like waves of enemies coming at you, and it's exactly the same thing, but it's like, oh, you've got to like sort of plant a bomb or something. It's really not so different.
Is there any narrative at all? Is there like a little story, or is it just going from...
Yeah, there is a story, but I'll be honest, I kind of skipped it because it was just sort of like, it's an invasion kind of thing. And I mean, some of the enemy designs are kind of okay, although one of the other people I was playing with, he said that it was really similar to, that one that we were talking about the other week with that Warhammer game. Was it Vermintide? Yeah. He said like these look exactly the same as the stuff in that. It's like really, really similar. So
is Vermintide who makes it? Is that Ubisoft as well?
I don't know. I mean, it's a Warhammer game, so I don't know who's got the license at the moment. But yeah, I mean, it was fun. It's just I want to get on it. I mean, because it's only active now for about another 15 days or so. And I want to get with a full team, so to see if we can actually finish any of the missions. But
yeah, I didn't need to do that.
There were certainly bits in it that had a sort of a similar like Left 4 Dead vibe. Like there's a one of the enemies in there that looks a bit like a tree, but it really feels like the witch from like Left 4 Dead. Like there's a real sort of similar kind of feeling to it. It's like don't antagonize it kind of thing. And there's another thing which is like this massive sort of like, I don't know what it is. It's just sort of like gorilla thing, and it's huge. A bit like the tank, it's like a very similar sort of thing. But I know it was good. It was, I mean, for free, for a short period of time. I mean, we wondered before whether maybe this is going to be something which is going to be developed into like a spin-off or something like that, and it probably could. But it still felt a little bit too much like Rainbow Six than, like the mission structure felt too much like Rainbow Six than something really new to me.
I find it strange. I would have thought they would have, if they were going to imitate a game with Rainbow Six, I would have thought it'd be, a Battle Royale game rather than a Left 4 Dead one. So that makes me kind of think that, because Ubi need a Battle Royale game, right? They need a game that they can include that mode in.
Far Cry makes more sense, doesn't it? Just because they've got the
not
space.
For me. Yeah, it would.
I think Ghost Recon. Ghost Recon's the game.
See, I'm not thinking that either.
But they've already got the massive open world map. They can just use that.
Hear me out. They've just announced the Division 2.
Yeah.
That seems a lot more... That seems like a lot more suited to that.
You ain't wrong.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'll be very surprised if there wasn't a Battle Royale mode now.
Problem with Big Div 2 is that it is it's a cover shooter, isn't it? So it's not necessarily mean that it couldn't work, but it's going to be weird having like a sticky cover shooter as a Battle Royale game. But
well, that gives it a little bit of difference.
Well, it does. It's both ways, right? It gives it something different. But like, can it work? I'm thinking getting stuck into cover, is that going to work necessarily? Who knows? But yeah, give it a go. I
still think Ghost Recon. It's got that massive map they've already designed and everything. It would work really well with that.
I guess, but it's whether they can maintain that with 100 players.
Yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
the problem.
It's not been built. Like, if you're doing that, you want to build it from the ground up. I know.
Yeah, that's true.
Fortnite managed to crowbar it into an existing game, but I think that made the announcement.
Yeah. They also do own and design the engine that Fortnite was built on and PUBG, so I think they had a bit of an advantage there.
Exactly. Okay,
so then the other game I've been playing is The Council. Do you know anything about this, Dave?
I saw someone mention it in the... was it in the Discord? Was that it? Off the back of what you were saying about that game? The
Detention.
Go on. No, is the answer. Go on.
Okay. Well, it's another adventure game, but this one, it's set in 1793. And what it is it's a sort of What?
1793. Oh, what a year.
It's a great year, Dave.
Well, the best stuff happened in 1793. It was...
What? Name something.
The French Revolution, Matt.
Apart from that.
You can't just judge a whole year on that.
Yeah, I'm sick of every episode, James. The French Revolution, Jesus.
So anyway, it's set... Okay, so the set is... Okay, let's start again.
Okay.
Don't know what happened there.
Well, that's definitely getting played at half speed next week. Go on.
Great. Okay, so the story is set on a private island just off England. And what it is you're playing, like, you end up on the sort of the jetty of some, of this island, and there's a mansion there, and when you go there, you find you've been sort of summoned. And there's like all these famous people like George Washington, Napoleon, etc. And your goal is that you're supposed to be looking for your mother who has gone missing, and she has ties to all of these other people on the island. So there's all these like sort of famous historical figures, and she has some sort of weird sort of relationships with all of them, related to things like the American sort of War of Independence, etc. So you're also part of some secret society, and you're just trying to figure out why she's disappeared. So you do this by exploring and sort of talking with all the guests. But the main hook with it is that, unlike other like sort of adventure games, there is a kind of like an RPG like progression system to it. So you can build and change your character depending on how you want to like sort of explore. So for myself, I mean, I went for the path of like being a diplomat. So what you do is you have like all like experience points, and you can put them into like different areas. Like I put it into like politics and etiquette and stuff like that, so that when I was talking with others, I could progress the story that way. But it did mean that when I was searching the mansion, like in other ways, I didn't have skills for like lockpicking and stuff, so I couldn't sort of explore in that way. I couldn't like discover stuff. So that's basically the main difference between this and most other adventure games. Is it feels a bit like playing like with like Fallout, how you have like you develop your character in that way, and if you have like very good speech skills, you can like unlock different chat options. It's really similar to that. It works in the same kind of way. And I mean, it's a 5-part series, and this was just the first episode, but it was quite good. I mean, I enjoyed what I played. It's just that unfortunately it's also, I mean, I played it on Xbox, and it just has really poor performance, to be honest, like just graphical glitches, like stuttering, all that kind of thing. But it's interesting. It's good.
Cool.
It sounds good. I don't think I'm going to play it.
No, I didn't think you would.
Well, when Jake's streaming it next week, it'll be all over.
Jake?
Drake.
Okay. You know Drake.
I thought you meant Jake Paul.
Yeah.
But it's like, Jesus, Dave's on top of the game here.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I don't even know Jake Paul is.
Logan Paul's brother. Logan Paul's just got 160,000 followers in one day on Twitch and hasn't even streamed yet.
Yeah, have you also heard? Have you also heard that basically Logan Paul and KSI are going to have a fight in August?
Yep. Yeah, in Manchester.
I'm trying to think of two people I hate more, so it's going to be a great fight.
Right, okay, fine. Is that it, James?
Also, Yakuza 6, which I've started, but
I have to take you to task to this because, when's Yakuza 6 out?
It's out in April.
So you've been reviewing it. You're in a great situation where you can tell us about a game that isn't out for a long time that you've been playing. And then when I saw the list of games that you wanted to talk about today, Yakuza 6 wasn't on it. Now the embargo's been lifted, so you're free to talk about it.
Yeah, it was lifted 3
you
days
just
ago.
went, no, I'm not ready to talk about it yet. And we're like, James, you're on a gaming podcast. You've got a game that no one else is talking about other than the big guns. Why wouldn't you talk about it?
Well, because as I was trying to explain before, I didn't feel like I played enough of this to be able to make any, not just judgment, but to be able to really sort of explain how I feel about it, because I've only played it for about, 5 or 6 hours.
We don't need to talk about the first 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, man.
I did.
I haven't played any of the games that I'm going to talk about for that long.
I know, but as I...
Me neither. Also, James, when are you going to tell us about Half-Life 3? You've been sitting on that for months.
Go on. What's the opening like?
Well, it's an opening that you would definitely hate because it's like half an hour of cutscenes. Yeah, there's there's a lot. And also, the other problem I've got with this at the moment is that I've had a really short gap between playing these games. And I do really like them. But you know how sometimes you have to feel like you're in the right mood for certain types of games. And when I started this, I didn't really feel in the right mood for it. Because I just felt kind of like, I've done this many times, twice, over a short period of time. So I wasn't really feeling sort of up for it. But
the problem is, James, you don't like Japanese games
I know,
set in Japan, do you? That's the problem. That's the problem with that one. It's not the game's fault.
James,
weak, David. It's pretty weak.
Go on.
But anyway, the last time I played, the last one I played was Kiwami, which was the remake of the first one. And the other problem I've got with this is that this is like Yakuza 6, so I've missed 5 games, in between this, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 4 games, in between these. And, even though there is a sort of a summary in the beginning which kind of explains things that have gone on, I still feel like I've lost a significant amount of character development up to this point. So that's the other reason why I was a bit kind of reticent to start it, because I just felt, I've missed so much. But it does do a good job of mixing that up. But the only other problem I've got with this is that the start of this, have any of you seen the Trailer Park Boys?
I'm aware of it.
No.
Okay, because with the Trailer Park Boys, right, pretty much every series at the end of it, they end up going to prison, and then the next series starts with them getting out. And to me, so far, Yakuza kind of feels like that. It's like at the beginning of every single game, it's always the main character is getting out of prison for something that's happened in the last one. So it's it's the repetition with that I didn't like so much. But then also the other thing with this is that the main character is significantly older at this stage than he is in the first couple of games, he's sort of late 40s. And all the time, people keep calling him Old Man. And it feels weird because he looks exactly the same as he did in the first game. And he doesn't look old, and it just doesn't really kind of work. But
here's what I find strange, is because I've read a few opinion pieces on this game, and one of the things they say is that because there's this new engine that they've put in there, instead of having 3 fighting styles like you're used to, certainly in Yakuza 0 he had 3 fighting styles.
Yeah.
Now he's only got 1. And did they even address that as part? Did they even try and make that part of the plot, or do they just go, "Don't worry about that"? He's just forgotten a few.
No, they kind of do, because they kind of like they make out that like he's out of shape because he's been in prison for like a fair amount of time, and that that plays out with stuff like when you run you get out of breath really quickly, and which is kind of irritating. But I think what they've tried to do with that is they've tried to condense the fighting system down so that it's like much simpler, so that you don't have to have all these different paths you can go. But that is something which, I mean, as I said, I'm only 5 or 6 hours in, so it's difficult for me to know at this stage like how that's going to develop. But it does feel like a bit more restrictive compared with how it was before, which is kind of a shame. But one of the things that I was really happy about is that, like, from the beginning, after a couple of hours, you move to a different city. Like, you move to Hiroshima, and it's like this rundown fishing town. And I was really relieved when it went there, and that's when it really started to pick up for me, because it's like it's a different environment. It's a very different sort of atmosphere to it, and that was when it really started to pick up again for me, because I just like if you sit down in a city and it's exactly the same city again, I didn't want to I know it's going to go back there eventually, but it was just nice for there to be a bit of a change of pace from that. And the main hook in the beginning of this is that you're taking care of a baby as well, which is just. It's quite funny in places, because you have to it's really weird, because you have to do this like sort of mini game sometimes where you're like walking around and the baby starts crying, and then you have to do these weird stuff like shaking the controller, not to shake the baby, but you know what I mean, to like make the baby. So
do you like? Is that good then? You like that stuff?
I actually liked it, yeah, because I was looking at like the Edge review for it, and they were like complaining about it and saying it was like really irritating, but I found it quite charming, to be honest.
What I find strange,
interesting,
is that that's exactly what you did in Heavy Rain, and you slaughtered it for that.
When? I don't remember
when you look after the baby and you're like, oh, why have I got to do this?
But that's because the controls were broken in that, David. They're fine in this.
Only for you. No one else struggled with that door, James.
The controls were broken in that game. They didn't work. And in this game, they work fine. They're like totally perfect. No problems at all.
Okay.
And it's been quite good. But I mean, still, like the dialogue and story development is still great. But again, I can't really say too much because I'm not that far in, like, for this kind of game. But the thing is like the other day I was sitting there playing it, and like Chen walked past me and she saw me playing it, and she said I had a massive smile on my face and looked really happy. So I guess I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying this game.
Were you watching another sexy video?
Oh, he's really happy and just wanking.
Yeah, it was just spraying everywhere. So happy. James, haven't they this week announced, is it Kiwami 2 or?
Yeah, this is a remake of the second one, so yeah, that's coming out in August, so I'm well up for that.
Fucking hell, I mean, it feels like it's a billion games was being announced for Yakuza. How aren't they recently announcing like 2 a year, it seems, at this point?
Well, it seems to be like that. I mean, I think this is the last one, because this game is also yeah, this game is also like definitely going to be. It's like the end of like this story. Like it's the end of like Kiryu's story. I'm aware of like I don't know how it ends, but it's the end of that. So I mean, I'm hoping that eventually they are going to end up releasing all of these on PS4, because they're already. I mean, they've got like 0, 1, 2, and now 6. So yeah, just a couple more to go.
He gonna die, isn't he? He's gonna die.
I don't know.
Spoilers.
He's gonna die. I reckon.
But yeah, I mean, as I said, I'm enjoying it, but I'm not that far in, so yeah, difficult to say.
Right, okay, so my list then, I'll quickly breeze through this because it's been a bit of a bitty week for me. I've been just like dipping in and out of things. The first thing I played was Life is Strange Farewell episode. I'll be brief, John. Chill out, mate. It's incredible. It's just absolutely incredible. It was, great, you see, everything you said last week was bang on. There was a few things that I clearly missed. James explained to me off air about little things that might be spoilery, so I won't go into it. But my word, that the emotion that I felt at the end of that game is probably the most emotional I've felt playing a game ever. That last, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I was like, this is just perfectly done. As you said, it's one of the best things they've done. It just really, really good. It made me sort of reminisce about when I was a kid and what we used to get up to in people's houses. It made me think about the relationships of all the characters in the game as I was playing it. Their future, what lies ahead, and then when it addresses that big plot point, it is absolutely perfectly done, and it just broke my little heart. I loved it. I thought it was what a way to end that sort of run. I really hope they don't go back to those characters in the second series of Life is Strange. I hope it's a completely new thing, but God knows. All I know is that I trust them. I trust with whatever they decide to do, and I'll be there for the second series.
And this wasn't even done by Don't Nod, was it? So this is done by a different team. And
no, but I'd be surprised if they weren't involved in some point, because it feels, if they had no involvement with it, Matt, then this is even more impressive, because how it taps into everything else that we've seen in that series of games is just perfectly done. Like, really, really good. If you like Life is Strange, then you've got to play this. You have. And if the last episode of Before the Storm disappointed you like it did James and I, then still give it a go, because that's the real ending. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it feels like. This is
what I would like is for this team. What?
It's all right. John's just having a breakdown. Go on.
Is it, you know?
Right, this is all for Adam Turner. Go on.
Is that we have Don't Nod doing like the main series, and then this other team, I forget the name of, so apologies there, but this other team doing the little like epilogues or stuff in between the series. I'll be really happy with that.
Yeah, why don't we just get a third team, and then we can just do endless Life is Strange, and it just every day we can have Life is Strange every day.
I like that.
Sounds good.
I like that. I'm off
let's
for
go
that.
with spoiler cast.
You know how James always goes to me, don't play that game, I really don't want you talking about that game. I feel exactly the same way about John playing Life is Strange.
Shit. There's no way
good.
now. There's no way. I can't.
Good.
I don't care.
Thank.
You've
good.
ruined it.
Excellent. No,
it's just
fine.
well, because
I'm happy
Turner
with
will
that.
be kicking off.
Because it's so easily ripped to pieces. This one, I'm sure people are playing go, what the fuck is this? This is shit. Like, just easily ripped to pieces. Limmy's tearing it apart at the moment. But I just get angry at it. I turn into one of those angry Twitter nerds when people talk about Life is Strange in a negative way. Weird. Okay, right. So that was that. I played a little bit more PUBG. I only mentioning this because over the weekend I got 3 chicken dinners. One of them was like back-to-back chicken dinners. It was unbelievable. We got a chicken dinner. John waited for us to finish the game, and then it was the usual. I almost said to you, John, should we just go and play Rocket League? Because we've just got a chicken dinner. There's no way we'd do that again. Fucking banging straight in, got another one. It must have been weird for you as well, because you just logged in your first game of PUBG, chicken dinners sorted.
Like, it was 1 for 1. It was crazy. And also I think I was having a game of FIFA listening to you guys get the chicken dinner. I wasn't watching it, and so I was like, oh, fucking hell, I'll play, but I mean, this isn't going to happen, is it? But
yeah. I've been in that situation as well, where I'm waiting for someone to finish, and they go, you hear them go, yes, come on, brilliant, and you're just like, fuck. The funniest thing about those games was playing with our friend, who I won't name, who takes command of situations, usually getting it wrong, where it was just us 4 and one other person, wasn't it? And we were trying to be quiet and not be spotted, and all of a sudden we heard, what was it? He's over there by the tree, So we all started shooting, and then like our mate Jay just went, no, actually he's over here, like right next to us. I like that. It's a good crowd that we play with. They're all different characters. I'm the one that usually gets shouted at by John for not driving in the direction that he has in his head.
What do you mean the direction I have in my head? It was the direction that we put on the map. The dot that we put on the map.
The situation was this. I was driving, we were driving down the road. Chet said to me, when you get to the end of the road, turn left. So I'm driving along, and you're going, where are you going, Dave?
Yes, but Dave, you missed all of the rest of us after that, saying, okay, go left now towards the blue. Go left now towards the blue.
I can guarantee you never said that.
We did, mate. That was the point. And then you were like, oh, well, why are you telling me? Why are you telling me this now? I'm going to go. And we were like, Dave, where the fuck are you going? So that's what happened. And then you bitched about it for ages.
And then you went, oh, you're a shit driver, got in the car and then rolled it over again, which I was pointing out to you and shouting it was you, because I was pointing it out to you and going, oh, yeah, you're such a great driver, John, but then realised that was on mute. So,
I'm one of the best drivers in the game, mate, so don't you worry about that.
Don't agree. I've also played more gravel. I played a lot of gravel last week, and I sort of fell away from. I was saying last week that there's a glimmer of hope for the game. Driving like a crazy person is a lot of fun in that game. It is to a point, and then it gets to a point where it gets a little bit too frustrating. And the whole sort of dull feeling around the game sort of sinks in, and you're like, actually, I don't want to play this anymore. So I went online with it and got a game instantly, full room. I'm driving along and I'm thinking, fucking hell, I'm really good at this game. Maybe I'll be playing this more. And I was winning constantly. I won about 3 races in a row, and I was like, I'm brilliant at gravel. Turns out this is my game. I'm going to play this a lot more because I'm amazing at it. Until I started thinking, hold on, this just don't feel right. I should not be winning every game like this. Every race is just seems way too easy. Even if I'm spinning out, I manage to catch up and overtake people. It seems too easy. And then at the end, I decided to go and click on every name that I was racing against. So it was an 8-player race. Only one of those persons was actually a person. The rest were bots. So because I tried to look at their like gamer cards or whatever it is on PlayStation, and yeah. So it was just me and one other guy and a load of bots, and the other guy was crap, so that's why I was winning. I was absolutely gutted. I thought it was like some sort of god. Turns out, just bots in it. Disappointed with that. And I started playing Super Hot last night. Not really feeling it.
No?
Not really feeling it. No, I just done the one where you got to jump the car at the beginning.
I've only played the VR one. I've not played the
the VR
one
one's amazing.
Yeah, the VR one does sound good. I'm not comparing it like the two. It feels more that I don't know how to play it properly yet. Like because you've got to just. I mean, I played the browser game. Do you remember it was a browser game initially?
Yeah.
I played through that and I really enjoyed it. Like really enjoyed it. I've just got to sort of get into the flow of playing that game and understanding what I'm doing. Because right now it feels like I can't judge where the enemies are heading to and like how fast my bullet moves. I'm finding it really frustrating that the enemies just keep coming over and over. Like it seems a bit like I don't know. It feels like I weren't in the right headspace yesterday, and I just couldn't get into the flow of the game. But I'm kind of interested with the dressing around it, although I've heard it's a bit disappointing. Like because it's framed inside a sort of you're testing a video game, right? It's got all that sort of DOS stuff. You've not played it.
No, it's a similar vibe in there.
Yeah, so it's like you get, and then the game breaks, and then they say, "Oh, yeah, I've got a new file for you, or whatever. Try this one." So I'm interested in that. It's keeping me interested, so I want to see where that goes. But I'll play more of that this week. It's free on Games with Gold at the moment, which is class. So good. That's my list. John, what have you got?
All right, well, I'll kick things off with Cuphead. Again, I've talked about previously on the show and complained about being too hard. Well, it turns out that my youngest son, Cody, demands that I play this game. And typically, I try not to just bend to the whims of my children when it comes to this sort of stuff. Elliot's kind of past that anyway, but he just comes and he goes, head heads, over and over and over while I'm trying to work. And I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'll just play it then. And it's agony because, I mean, the game does my fucking head in. It really does my head in. I finally beat the boss on the roller coaster. Legitimately 350 goes. It had to have been 350 goes. I mean,
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, I've lost my edge a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I'm 35 years old, but it's just a bitch of a game. And then I'm on the next boss now where it's like a genie, and I mean, I love the style so much. I couldn't love it anymore. But the gameplay itself, it's just, I still don't think it's justified in being this difficult, because I don't think it's designed well enough to be this difficult. And even the little hitboxes on and things like that, that's really how I feel about it. Because I tell you what, I beat that boss of 350 goes, and I stood up and I was happy, and I was like, yeah, I've done that. I was happy that it was done, but I was more relieved. Do you know what I mean? It's not like when you beat the Dark Souls bosses that you're really stuck on, or something like that, the Bloodborne or whatever, and you really feel that sense of absolute elation and thrill. And I definitely didn't get that at all on this. At all. But yeah.
Is there part of you thinking about, like, because it got huge, like, it's got a great reputation, and it got really good, like, it's critically acclaimed. Is there part of you thinking, like, is this just me, or are you flat out convinced that it's bad game design?
No, I don't. It's not bad necessarily. I just don't think it's good enough to justify what it wants from you. And it's nothing to do with anybody else's thoughts. I've thought that since before a single review came out, because being able to work from home, I downloaded it the second it came out. I remember streaming it that very day, and I started thinking that within the first 90 minutes, and I assumed everybody else was going to as well. But yeah, people absolutely love it. But people have got more patience than me. That's definitely true. As you probably tell listeners to the podcast, I'm not the most patient of fellows. But he's going to come in and demand it again and again and again, and it's difficult when he says the word heads maybe 60, 70 times in a row directly into your face over and over and over again. It's like, well, I've either got to just tell him to go away and he's going to scream, or I don't know. It's just he's a very difficult child, so it's just the whole thing's just a fucking nightmare.
That's a proper moral decision there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do I listen to heads over and over and over and over again, or do I play a game that I absolutely despise?
Yeah, well, I don't despise it. No, I don't despise the game. I actually quite like the game. It just does my head in.
Heads.
And I'll tell you what happened. So I've been trying to fucking beat this roller coaster boss for God knows how long. I'm doing like 20 goes here, 30 goes here, about a month maybe, and I finally started to feel like, okay, I'm there, I'm going to get this guy sooner or later. And I got to the last stage, because the bosses are done in stages and you only have a certain amount of health points. You can't get any back, that's the annoying thing. And it got to the final stage, still had like 2 hit points, I think, and I was like, I'm going to fucking do it. And my office has wood floors, not hardwood, like laminated floor. I guess it's not wood, whatever, a laminated floor, a hard floor. And then I'm right at the end of this boss and I hear this slam. And Cody, who I remember I'm staring at the TV the whole time concentrating. Cody's behind me slightly on my chair. He's fully face planted off the chair. I thought he was just sitting there, fully face planted on this hard floor, like the scream. Honestly, mate. Obviously, I died, and there was a part of me. I heard that noise, and you know what? It was probably only 1 second. I was like, "Yeah, but I could just beat the boss. I'll check him in a minute," and then I stopped. And that part, that part was there was a dark heart in there for a second, but it can't have been longer than half a second. But it felt like longer, and he was all right. He was
5
fine.
minutes.
No blood, all fine. Had a little sweet, and yeah, he's fine. And then a little bit later, I beat it. But that's how deranged it made me.
I mean, I'll kind of make you feel better, like, because there are times where Harry was a baby and I was playing Rocket League or whatever, and I was in the middle of a game, and you hear him crying, and you just think, just give it a little bit, because I'm winning it, and I don't want to suddenly. It's bad. But at the same time, you hear that sort of screaming over and over again for God knows how long, that you loses the.
But when you've heard the literal slam of your child's face hitting a hard floor from about a foot in the air, it was. I'd say no longer than 1 second. No longer than 1 second. But that was pretty dark. I feel bad about that. That's how deranged that fucking game makes me. Anyway.
I don't know what to say.
I don't. There's no justification for it. It was literally, when I say 1 second, I mean. That amount of time, but still. Any other time, if I wasn't playing Cuphead, it would have been instant. Anyway, that's a confession.
What if your wife listens to this? But she'd go mental, right?
What? Nah.
If your wife heard that.
It's only 1 second.
But she'd think you'd be alright, even if it's just 1 second.
What is this? Fucking, am I suddenly on trial here? No,
not at all. I'm just saying, like, because I know that if Joe heard me say, like, I would never tell anyone that. Because she'd find out and she'd kill me.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Who knows? That's
living life on the edge.
Yeah, mate, that's what I do. Right, moving on then. So, James, I'm going to lie to you, mate. I tried Persona 5. I really did. I tried to like it. Yeah. I gave it a good. I enjoyed the beginning of it. Like I said, I really like the style, and that's not going anywhere. And then I progressed, and I got to the school and met a Ryuji, and then it goes off into this weird flight of fancy in a castle with the fucking teacher, and it was okay. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? But I'll persist, and I get through, and then you meet this cat, and I'm like, oh man, I really don't know if I've got. It's more because in the back of my mind, I'm like, this game is like 100 hours long, and that was the problem. I wasn't actually disliking anything that was happening, but I'm like, this is. If I'm not in love with this yet, do I really have the patience to do another 98 hours? I don't know, but I got through all of that castle. There's some fights in there and stuff like that, and then like a whole scene after that, and you get through the school. And I actually enjoyed the bit in the school; it was quite funny. And did a whole bunch after that. Got back to the gaff, and I was like, okay, well, I'm done for now, but I'll come back tomorrow and see how it is. I thought I'd saved it. Went back.
Oh,
the game starts. I'm before the bit where you go to the castle. I lost about 90 minutes of progress, and I'm like, it's not happening. It's not happening. I'm not doing it again. Because in that bit, I mean, to be fair, I could probably skip all the cutscenes, because in that bit, there is only about 2 minutes of gameplay in that whole fucking bit. And I just don't think I'm built, my concentration levels are all fucked up these days. I'm just not built to watch a game like that much. I need to be doing something. And yeah, I fucking tried. I really did try, but losing that progress, it was a killer.
But you can appreciate the aesthetic.
Love the aesthetic, love the style. Yeah. Totally get why people like it. I don't really have a bad word to say about the game, and kind of knew what I was getting in for. Was a little bit surprised at the lack of interactivity in the first 3 hours. I mean, there are some battles, but it's not exactly that heavy on it. And I remember playing like Final Fantasy VII. There's a decent amount of battles early doors in that. That was the first JRPG I played, and other ones. It's probably on the lower end of interactivity for that. But I guess there's so much depth, I guess, to the relationships and stuff moving on. But I was like, I think I'm just going to. Well, I was like, I'm and whether to cut my losses after that period, but I was like, I'll give it one more good session, and then obviously losing that much progress. I mean, it happened to Dave on Yakuza, didn't it? And it's an absolute, it's brutal, and it happens. There's very few games that I've had that happen to me and gone back to be honest. Very few games of any genre. It would have to be something very special to make me do something like that again, just with so little time. So I'm a bit disappointed in myself and a bit disappointed that I'm out, but I was like, do you know, I went this crazy period between Christmas and New Year. I think I was drunk for most of it, but I just started buying anything that was remotely cheap and interesting on PlayStation stores. Fucking idiot, really. But another game that I bought was Neo, the Samurai Dark Souls game that I'd heard was good. I think that appeared at 20 quid. So after Persona 5, I was like, fuck it, let's move off, let's forget about it, write it off in a mind and get Neo, and let's see what's happening in Neo. And straight away, it's action. I was like, this is the perfect antidote. This is exactly what I need. And if you don't know what the game is, it's basically Team Ninja's version of Dark Souls, where you play as a samurai that looks exactly like Geralt from The Witcher for some reason. I think he's like Irish or English or something, but he moved over to Japan. Really a real historical figure. I've done zero research, typical me. But anyway, if you play Dark Souls, you know what to expect. The combat is very precise, it's very deliberate. The enemies are very dangerous. You lock on, all that sort of stuff. But to be honest, as I started to get more and more into Neo, I was like, man, the combat is fucking good in this. I mean, it's seriously good. It's like the concept of Dark Souls combat, like we talked about, but with the precision of like almost like a Ninja Gaiden, because obviously it's Team Ninja, and like the way you can sidestep, the way you can move, it feels so crisp and sharp. I actually think I was preferring the combat in Neo to any of the Souls games, including Bloodborne, which is high praise indeed. So, like, there's the first kind of like prologue bit, which I enjoyed, and then the first proper level, which is in the alpha that I played before. And again, I was like really getting into combat. There's some really nice touches where after every flurry that you throw with your sword, if you hit R1 at the right time, you regain some stamina. It's like supposed to be like your key or some bullshit like that. But it's just a really nice little touch that you can change your stances. There's more depth to the combat almost immediately than there ever is in Dark Souls. But it's still that, you know, that tension, which is great. And I was like, fuck, this is really, really up my street. I kind of love that vibe anyway. I love the Onimusha games. I've always loved like samurais and things like that. Really, you know, I love Japan and old, especially sort of ancient Japan. And then like about 2 hours into Neo, maybe slightly before that, you hit the first boss, and it's classic Dark Souls style. It's cutscene, it's music, it's got the name at the bottom of the bar. It's very Dark Souls. Everything's very From Software, and the boss is fucking toilet. It's an absolute toilet of a boss. You're in the hull of a ship. There's no room. It's some big idiot with like big metal balls for hands, and it just like two-shot me, one-shot me, two-shot me, one-shot me over and over and over again. And then I finally figured out, okay, when he does this attack, I skip this way. When he does this attack, I skip this way. And that's like, I was like, okay, eventually, it's like Cuphead. Eventually, I could beat this guy if I just don't make any mistakes and do exactly like this. But it just didn't have the flair of anything in the From Software games, of any of their bosses, as hard as they are and as unfair as they can feel sometimes. So I put out a tweet and I was like, the boss is all this shit. And the general vibe I got back was like, yeah, they get a bit better, but they ain't great. And then other people was like saying the combat's good, but you know, the environments never get anywhere in the O. And I was like, damn, man. I really, really love the combat in this game. I think it's incredible. But I can't be arsed with the bosses if they're all this shit, because if they're going to be shit and hard, I mean that hard. The game's hard anyway. Who's got the patience? And if the level design, that was the one thing, it was like in terms of atmosphere, level design, all that sort of stuff, it's like leagues behind Dark Souls, leagues behind it. Combat might be better, but the rest of the game is nowhere near up to it. So I'm thinking, can I be asked to trudge through a load of boring levels to get to boring bosses just because the moment to moment's good? Probably not. So again, I feel like I've jumped off that one as well, which is a bit of a shame because they were 20 quid each, those games, and I kind of bounced off both of them after a couple of hours. But man, I really wanted to love Neo. Like, it's so my game, but that boss is just like it felt like, oh, this is what you're giving me. This is what your boss design's like. I don't believe we're going to be getting anywhere over the next 20, 30 hours if this is what your first one's like. But anyway, there we go.
Have you played The Surge, John?
Sorry, there was. What did you say there, Matt?
Have you played a game called The Surge?
No, I've heard it's decent. I played that Lords of the Fallen, a bit of that, from the same developers, which is okay. But and I've still got Dark Souls 2 and 3 to finish, and Bloodborne DLC, and you know what I mean, Sea of Thieves, Fortnite, stuff to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing about Dark Souls, isn't it? I mean, it's tough, but you very rarely get one-shotted in that. There's a couple of bosses that'll do it to you, but you know, if they do, they tend to have such a huge wind up to it that you know it's coming and it's easily avoidable.
Yeah, and they're so impressive and amazing that you kind of like, you're in awe of them for a few goes and you start to figure them out. I mean, it kind of hammered home how amazing the design is in that game, actually, playing this, because I was like, this looks like it should be like a Dark Souls boss. It's big, it's imposing, you know, it wants you to figure out the attacks. It's very hard, but it's just straight away, I was just like, bang, this is nowhere near the standard, and it's just too hard to justify. Annoyingly hard. That's why I just don't like annoyingly hard, you know, for the sake of it. The boss didn't need to be that fucking hard.
I'm kind of surprised James didn't dig you out more about Persona there, because everything you said about that sounded exactly like what I said about
yeah, but it's
Yakuza.
the tone, David. It's the way he says it. It's not all just like, this is the worst thing ever. It's like, you know, it's reasonable. The way he expressed it was reasonable.
On Persona, I felt like it was me, not the game. Do you know what I mean? I could pick at it for being too heavy on dialogue and too heavy on sort of anime cutscenes and stuff like that. A, I played like, 2 hours out of 100, so 2% of it. B, I've got a bad taste in my mouth because I lost 90 minutes of progress, which, I mean, I thought, I was pretty sure I'd saved it, but like, clearly not. And C, like, there was a lot to like. There's a lot to like about the game, it's just not for me. And I
suppose that's the difference. There's not that much to like about Yakuza, so... Okay, cool. Is that all the games?
Yeah, well, I smashed a load of Fortas as well, but we talked about that. But I am really into it at the moment. I'm really enjoying where it's at as a game, and PUBG too. But you know, I certainly won't be talking about the comparison between PUBG and Fortnite this week.
I was thinking about this today, actually, John, and honestly, for me, it's what my mates are playing, and they're all playing PUBG, and then they're not playing Fortnite. Yeah. But if they suddenly tomorrow turned around and went, right, we're playing Fortnite instead of PUBG, I wouldn't have any problems switching. You know what I mean? It's not that I dislike Fortnite. It's just our mates are only going to be playing one of those games
they don't like Fortnite for reasons we talked about, because they're a bunch of old boys, you know, and they're stuck in their ways, and they're just not going to learn that building. They're not even going to try it. So if you don't learn the building in Fortnite, you're just going to get smashed, like you just are. You get into a gunfight with someone, they can put a wall up, you just stand there. Who's going to win? It's pretty obvious. So that's that. I mean, and I think there's room for both. I think they're both fantastic. But man, Fortnite's so much slicker. It's not even funny just to put on for a couple of games.
Yeah.
Drake certainly thinks so.
Damn right.
He did.
And Travis Scott.
He did.
One of my favourite things all week was seeing all the games journalists trying to pretend like they knew who Travis Scott was. That was hilarious.
Yeah, but it's like Travis Scott, and then like someone from like an NFL team, but also Kim.com. Kim.com just came on. I don't quite know why he was there.
Who's Kim.com?
He used to own like Mega Upload, a video service before that, or an upload service before that, and basically he's like he was described as like a known hacker, but also like entrepreneur. Anyway, he changed his surname to .com. That's all you need to know.
He changed his surname to .com.
Yeah.
It is in New Zealand. There's a whole thing where his house got raided and stuff for copyright violations and things.
Yeah, because it was Mega Upload. I think it was a big one that he owned.
Did he go to prison at one point, or he was close, or something like that?
I think is that John McAfee you're thinking about instead, because he was on the run for similar-ish issue in recent.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, yeah, Kin.com as well as Travis Scott and Drake and some NFL guys all on the same stream. Quite random.
Okay. All right. Cool. Is that it? Should we do questions?
Yeah. Let's do it, boys.
It's email time.
It's email time. If you want to email us, it's at thecomputergameshow@gmail.com. It's not at thecomputergameshow@gmail.com. Erase that. If you want to email us, it's thecomputergameshow@gmail.com. But I'm pretty sure you could have worked it out. Right, here we go.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Hi again. Congratulations on another great show. I was in tears, laughing at multiple times throughout this episode. You're the only podcast I listened to and well worth it. I just wanted to clarify my email from last week. I meant your personalities and characters as a whole will make the show worth listening to each week, not just Matt on his own. Sorry, Matt. Dave and James's hilarious Yakuza 0 argument reminded me of the kind of argument I have with my friends whenever I say that I don't like The Last of Us. So, what one game do each of you dislike that always provokes a passionate defence from others, apart from Yakuza 0? P.S. Sorry for not calling you openly aggressive, John. That is quite alright, Mark from Wigan. So, what do you think, guys? What is one game that you dislike that always provokes a passionate defence from others?
I mean, I don't know, really. I can't really pick one out that I tend to dislike. I mean, yeah, I'm man of the people. So, I tend to go with the flow. Know what I mean?
Yep. And we can't use Yakuza, so... Yeah, and to answer the question myself, I can't even remember massively disliking a game that a lot of people love. I tend to try and put myself... I'm like this with a lot of things. I'm not trying to make it out like I'm some sort of nice guy, but whenever people are really into something, I try and work out what it is they like about it. That's why I like a lot of different genres in music, because I'm like, okay, all these fucking people like EDM. What the hell is it about EDM that they like? And I'll listen to something, I'll give it a go, and I don't like EDM. But it's like that with games, and I'll try and at least get to the essence of what it is they like about it, even if they're never going to actually like the game. But to be honest, I'll probably think of something in a minute and go, actually, no, that game's wank. And
I'm starting to pick them out as well already. Like Deus Ex, when they was it Human Revolution, the first reboot?
Yeah,
that got like a load of praise, and I played that, and I just could not get into it. Same with Black Flag. Black Flag, sort of, I enjoyed it at the start, and Assassin's Creed Black Flag, I enjoyed it at the start, and then it just plummeted for me. And I just went, oh my god, I'm doing Assassin's Creed stuff again. I never really got on with those games. I know, James, you were a fan, but
what, Assassin's Creed?
Yeah,
I've only played the first two. It's just I own them all, but like I said, I never play them. It's ridiculous. But
yeah, I didn't really get into that in a massive way. Matt,
I mean, we've definitely had this question before, and I can't think of a game that I hate.
Excellent, James.
I can't think of anything I really hate either. I mean,
what?
Well, no, come on. I mean, just what have I talked about that I've gone on about being rubbish? I can't remember.
All games.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how long have we got? You said hurry up.
Titanfall 2.
No, it's fine.
Dishonored.
I just had. That's not true. You know, I love that game, and that was just
how did you love that game? You
manufactured.
turned around and said it does nothing new, and the setting's shit.
That was at that conference before I'd actually played it.
What has that taught us? Don't judge a game by a conference, James.
I could have some early impressions.
Write that down in your notebook. James, how can you give off impressions based on a conference, but you didn't want to talk about Yakuza 6 after fucking 7 hours of play?
He's got you there, mate.
Yeah, you got me there.
I've won. Finally.
Right, next question. Hey, fellas. In the last show, Dave voiced some concerns about letting his boy play a fighting game, even if it was Super Smash Bros. There's been a lot of chatter recently about children playing games they're too young for and placing restrictions on these games to prevent them from doing so. So I wanted to ask what your own feelings were on age restriction on games with regards to your own children. At what age do you imagine you allow your own kids to play the likes of Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed and Doom? Cheers, guys. Ben. And before we answer that, we had another question about kids from Lee. Are you guys strict on your children's playtime or just playing video games in general? My 5-year-old has shat himself before because he didn't want to tear himself away. My little brother has pissed himself. Also, I've watched my brother smash 2 PSPs because the games made him angry. Is the answer balance or just not playing games too young? So that one was from Lee. So a couple of questions about kids. I'll jump on and answer both straight away. In terms of the age restriction stuff, I've said this before in the show, but my brother is a lot younger than me. I mean, it doesn't matter now, we're both fucking old men, but he's there was a period.
You're doing what?
Yes,
right? That's what we do. Whatever we do in our free time.
Focus on the games, mate.
Yeah. But there was a period, right, where he was still basically a little kid and I was almost an adult. So, and being, a gamer, of course, it was kind of up to me to figure out what was all right for him to play and not. So, like, I thought it was all right for him to play GTA, Vice City at like 12 years old, but not Manhunt, you know. So I kind of always had that head on. I never really cared about the actual age ratings, because anybody who brings up age ratings in a debate about that, like the PEGI ratings or the BBFC, it's like, fuck off. You didn't ever watch a 15 when you were 10, you never watched an 18 when you were 12, get fucked. So don't bring that up.
I agree with that, but I still think they're important.
No, I'm not saying they're not important, but I'm just saying, like, you know, I think that informed people like us can make much better decisions than you know, a government body.
You're absolutely right,
but you have some discretion, don't you, over it?
It's more that it's not so much, hey, you need to be 18 to play this game. More, well, that's a simple way of saying, well, I know what sort of content's going to be in this game, and then making a decision from there. Like, it's a shorthand way of saying,
I'm saying we know what's in the game. This is a different topic. This isn't the same topic. I'm talking about when suddenly people who are informed and have also in their youth watched many things that they shouldn't have watched by those age ratings suddenly invoke the argument of the age ratings. Like, for example, when people were talking about that Fortnite being on this morning and the kid was 11 and Fortnite's at 12, there's lots of people on Twitter going, well, actually, you shouldn't be playing the game because he's 12. It's like, get fucked, did you? You never fucking...
Yeah.
No, like, you never fucking played anything that was below the age rating. That's not the fucking topic here. But, yeah, I know what you mean, Dave, but, I mean, the BBFC stuff is the law in terms of buying it, so that's a bit different. But I'm just talking about informed people I don't just blindly go by a government body. And I think
of course, but the government body is that, like, this is so picky, it's pointless in saying, but I'm leading to a point. The government body is that you can't buy it. It's not that you can't watch it or play it. It's that you can't buy it until you're that age, right? So the idea is, and I mean, this is in the ideal world, and we know we're not living in that world at all, is that it's saying, look, this has content that we believe is for 18 plus, right? We don't want kids buying this stuff. I get that. Like, I understand there's an idea behind that, and I think it's important. It's not the certificate. It's not the certificates or whatever. It's not the age rating on these games that is the problem or needs changing. It's the education of the parents to say, look, when we say 18 on a game, we fucking mean that that's the same sort of content that you'll get in an 18 rated films. Because I feel that people see an 18 rated film and know whether their kid who is, 15, 16 or whatever.
But we're not talking about the wider parents here. We're talking about us.
Yeah.
That's the question. The question's about us.
And it's something that I'm dealing with at the moment. Jo is obviously a lot more stricter than I am with this stuff. She was the one that brought up, you said that I voiced my concerns about Harry playing Smash Brothers. I personally have no worries over it because to me it's not violent. It's just, it is violence, but this is the struggle that I'm having in my head because now, Jo and I are both responsible for this kid, and it's not, well, my rules, this is what's happening. It's Jo's saying her side of it, and she's obviously a lot more sensitive to that, to violence in video games and stuff like that. I'm a lot more used to it. But having what I consider an outside opinion of that is kind of making me question, is it okay for him to play that sort of stuff? And I'm talking about specifically for my kid, not for anyone else's. I'd never judge anyone for saying, yeah, no, it's fine, I let my kid play it. Like, it's not my business. But inside in this house at the moment, and it's going to be a discussion point for years with Harry. I've got no doubt. Jo's a lot more conservative with that stuff. I'm a lot more liberal with that shit. Like, that's just going to be an argument that we're going to have over for a long time. But it is making me question my decisions a lot more. And although to us, the violence in Super Smash Bros. Is nothing, right? And it's stuff that we grew up watching cartoons like Power Rangers and shit like that, was people kicking the shit out of each other, and that was a kid's show. And you wouldn't think twice about letting your kid watch Power Rangers, I guess. But I don't know, it's really conflicting for me at the moment.
That's fair. I mean, I've never think twice about my kids seeing Super Smash Brothers at all. It's never ever going to be a concern.
No, I guess not. The other thing is the time, because it's the same, we come from the same, but like for me, Harry could just sit and play a game all day, it doesn't matter. Like, honestly, he's really enjoying it, and I love watching him enjoy it. Jo gets really concerned about him getting too wrapped up in computer games. And so we'll be playing on a Saturday morning, she'll wake up and say, "Not right, we're playing a board game now," or "We're building Lego now." And I think that's also like I respect her for thinking like that because it does give him a little bit more variety in how he spends his time, and that's good. But at the same time, he really, really loves playing games. And when it comes to something like throwing a pad or getting angry at a game, that's when I'll switch it off. That's when I'll go, no, that's it, you've ruined it now. Because I'm not having him like expressing rage in that way. It's weird. Parenting is a fucking minefield. The one thing that I try and do is not judge other people, just focus on how I'm doing it. But I am constantly questioning everything I do. I'm at a bit of a weird stage where Harry's 4 now, and he's doing stuff that is new, and he's getting a lot more emotional with things. He's getting angry. He's getting, kids can't control their emotions. And knowing the influence you've got over your kids, it's fucking scary at the moment. So I don't know. Yeah, it's been something that those two questions have been big talking points in this house over the past 6 or 7 months. And that's not going to stop now until he's like 20. It's going to be a nightmare for a long time.
Fuck off, Dad. Yeah. If I could play Fortnite 6 with Matt.
But should you be going to the pub? Yeah, it's fucked.
What are you, James?
See, I have different perspectives depending on, because like with Rachel, she's like 8 now, and she's played games since she was probably about sort of like 4, I think. But she started off with just playing Mario stuff and everything. But with her, I don't really feel worried about like how often she plays and that sort of stuff, because she controls it herself like really well. Like she won't just sit there like all day and play stuff. But Asher will. Like he's 4 and he's recently really, really got like into stuff, and I do restrict like how often he can play. Like he's only allowed to play the Switch on the weekend, like for certain periods of time or whatever. He's got like a 2DS as well, which he plays, but again, I restrict like how long he can use that for, because he will just sit there all day and play it, because he just seems to have more of like an obsessive personality with that than she does. And I can relate to that, because it's very similar to like how
Does
I
he
was
kick
when I was
off
that
when
age.
you ask him to turn it off?
He used to, but he doesn't anymore, because he's learnt that when he does that, it gets taken away for longer periods of time. And now he's much more sort of just like, okay, that's fine, because he knows he can do it again some other time. So he's pretty reasonable actually about that. He's been fine with it.
He sounds so much like Harry. It's unreal.
But then, with the content and everything, I mean, I see he's played like Smash Brothers because he plays it on 2DS. I don't really have a problem with him playing that, because it doesn't seem to make him any more violent than he is normally. Like kids love like wrestling and stuff like that.
Just stick 2 or 3 boys in a room, and within like 3 minutes they'd just be having a ruck, and it's just the way it is.
They do that. I mean, Rachel doesn't do that. She hates it if I try and wrestle with her. But Asher loves it.
Yeah, it's the same.
Matt?
Well, Eddie doesn't really play games, and so it's not an issue in this house yet. I mean, it might be in a few years, but for now, she's not really that focused.
Fair enough.
There you go. All right, well, that was a good chat. All right, that was all the letters. What was it? No, one more. Oh, sorry. Evening, fellas. Feedback first. How could you need cover... This is a terribly written email. How could you cover the news
It's annoying, isn't it, John? You have to like edit them on the fly.
Yeah.
I'll
just slate them. How could you cover the news last time and miss the Megaton of the Week? What do you think of I Am 8-Bit and Playdead Collector's Edition for Inside announced? This might not be someone whose English is their first language, so I apologise.
So, Playdead have announced a special edition of Inside, and they've teamed up with the people that make Real Dolls. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And everyone obviously goes, So the idea is, I mean, it's clearly the thing that happens at the end of the game. I don't really want to spoil it, because that's a big part of what that game is. But something happens at the end of the game, and it's like a fleshy thing. And they've obviously gone, well, who produces things that represent real flesh? Well, this company does, and they've teamed up with them to make it, I guess, to give away as like some sort of special edition package. but because of the nature of the business that they've chosen, everyone's first question is, "Yeah, but can you fuck it?" Like it's like that seems to be the question that's flying around the internet, and surely not, because what that thing is made up of is full of all sorts of stuff that, but
the thing I think is that they could team up with anyone else, but the fact they've teamed up with like a sex doll manufacturer, like that for me sounds like that has to be an element of whatever this thing is. The reason we don't know is
no way is it going to be that.
The reason we don't know is basically they've announced there's this inside special edition. It's $375. The page where it buys it doesn't say what it is, and basically they're accepting orders until June time. You don't know what it is, but basically there's something in the box, and the fact that it's teamed up with IM 8-bit, Playdead, and Real Doll. I mean, they've teamed up with anyone else can make like a weird plastic, weird plastic thing.
Not on a no. I disagree. Their business is making fleshy type objects, right?
Yep, true.
Who else does that?
Well, I don't know, but I'm sure there are tons of other doll manufacturers.
Not like that.
Well, exactly.
I don't think it's going to be anything to do with. There's not going to be any. It's not a sex toy.
Anyway,
there's no way it's going to be a sex toy.
I really, really want to try this, whatever this thing is. So, if anyone, someone get me on the press list for this thing.
What do you mean, try it?
Yeah. Well, if it's a sex,
Matt.
Yep.
Right, I'm not joking about now. Think carefully about what you're saying, because you
want a real doll, Matt.
I really like Inside. It's a great game.
But have a think about what that thing's made up of.
Just think of the YouTube content. Think of the unboxing.
If you want to put yourself in that situation, then you can. But I would highly recommend you remind yourself what that thing's made up of.
Anyway,
seriously,
I'm very interested to see what this thing is, but it's almost $400, so I have not got that sort of capital right now.
God, and we are but gamers are mugs, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're fucking mugs. Oh, how much is it?
$375.
Okay, we're sending this thing for $375. Okay, what is that thing? We're not going to tell ya. All right, well, I'll put my credit card. Where do I put my credit card? In here? Okay, yeah, I'll buy it.
But it's a limit of 2 per customer, which I think is also strange. And yeah, basically his contents. Well, I don't know. Something about that just makes me feel weird that it's limited of 2 per customer. Like you might want to try 4. Well, because it's expensive anyway. So what sort of people would be like, yeah, I need 4 of these things.
What the hell are we talking about?
Can we stop talking about this? Because it's just weird.
Yeah, please.
And you're just rambling. It's just nonsense.
Anyway,
I don't mean you're right. You're right.
He also asks, with its reveal at E3 in a couple of months, highly likely, I'm not sure about that, but we shall see, what direction would you like to see the next Halo game take? This is from Adam Reynolds.
Back to basics.
Yeah,
because
back
the
to
last
Bungie.
Halo was like trying to squad stuff and reviving, and just scrap that. Go back to what made Halo great. Just great gunplay, great moment-to-moment sort of set pieces. Just you as Master Chief doing some missions. That's what the last Halo is just so disappointing. Yeah. It had some good multiplayer aspects, although I didn't even like the big battle mode they had. Just I want a decent story. And I want a decent single-player experience, which the last Halo was not, in my opinion.
Yeah, man. Triple down on the systems, triple down on the AI. Let's get it up to at least the standard of fucking Combat Evolved, which is ancient now. And make sure that, those moment-to-moment, it's all systems-driven. There's vehicles, there's action. You create moments and stories within it that happen. It's nothing to do with cutscenes or anything like that. That's the magic of Halo. And if we can get that back, then amazing. If we can't, then it's done for me.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I mean, I want amazing music, but I don't want the ridiculous guitar solos or whatever was happening on the last soundtrack. I'll just basically reboot Halo, in my opinion. Just go back to basics, and then it'll be great.
Yeah, it's going to be 6, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not expecting it to just be called Halo, but just reboot systems or just go back to what made Halo so good. Because you're totally right, John. If the next one is like the last one, then I'm definitely done.
Yep. All right, we all done? Is it tweets time, boys? Yeah. Is it tweets time?
Yeah, do the tweets.
It's tweets time. All right, Stuart Baker, for fear of making a bit too much of a dadcast, I will read this tweet out, but it's a bit daddy again. Over the weekend, I had my first proud gamer dad moment when my 4-year-old daughter managed to finish Mario Kart 8 tracks by herself without assist and didn't even come last in some races. What's your earliest proud dad moment, best moment to date? P.S. Dave, Kirby would be perfect for you and Harry. So for me, it is probably something very similar. Elliot finishing a Mario Kart race, Cody finishing Mario Run levels, Elliot finishing some levels on Mario 3D World for the first time, which is crazy to think now considering what you can do in Mario games. But yeah, just it's pretty similar, to be honest.
Yeah, for me, it was the first time that I was properly buzzed was when he finished first in a Mario Kart race. The first time it was like, oh my god, that's a game changer. Because he'd done stuff in games before, but none of it was anywhere near as impressive as that. When he did that for the first time, I was like, yes. And now, these days, every time he gets any moon in Super Mario Odyssey, I'm like... In fact, actually, he has really been impressing me with Super Mario Odyssey. He's getting better and better by the day. It's really exciting.
Yeah, I think, for me, it was like... I think the first time I saw Asher doing, like, wall jumping, like, in Mario Odyssey, to, like, get something, and I was like, he gets it. Like, he really gets, like, how to do all that stuff. That was cool.
That was it. For me, it was the floor stomp jump. Like, I was like, holy shit, how is he... Like, that's... I mean, it's not massively complicated, but for a 4-year-old, that's pretty cool. So yeah, that was pretty... And now he's doing, like, hat jumps and shit, which is even more impressive. But, yeah, I mean, he constantly surprises me with what he can do in these games.
It was when Elodie said, "What are you playing, Daddy?" I'm like, "Mario." And that was that. Because one, I don't really play games that often in the daytime, and when I do, she often isn't interested. But the fact she just wanted to sit down and even watch it was like, oh wow, it's amazing.
Right, next one. From Stanchel, recently my life is 98% shmups on the Switch. Which have you played and would recommend in your favourite ever? For me, Danmaku Unlimited 3 is a blissful bullet hell mind melter, and Zero Gunner 2 is an unmissable fluid, unique Dreamcast port. My favourite ever is Dodonpachi. I don't think any of us are massively into that genre. I know Chet Roivas loved them. And
no interest at all.
Yeah, if you tweet at C Roiver, he could probably give you some recommendations. I don't mind them. I liked a bit of a Karuga. I played a few on the Dreamcast as well, but yeah, it's not something that I'm massively into. You boys?
No, but speaking about this, I've seen like Fangamer. I'm not sure if Fangamer is and basically this company called Fangamer are making a vertical grip for Nintendo Switch. It looks brilliant, and it's got sort of rubber bits in between the Joy-Con, and so I guess for these sorts of games it would be perfect.
Matt, you're going to buy that and literally never use it.
I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah, bollocks. All right, moving on. Lee, again, says, it occurs to me that James looks like an unfit Andres Iniesta. Do the rest of you have a famous doppelganger? Love you. James looks like Rui Faria for the Man United assistant manager. We've established this.
We've established Matt's as well. There's with that dude.
From Brighton.
There was a Brighton player. But there was someone else as well, wasn't there?
It's the guy from yeah, I can't remember. Basically, the guy who runs Panic Inc.
Google that. The guy that runs Panic Inc.
What's Panic Inc?
I've no idea. But he sent a picture of the guy once to me, and I was like, "No, Matt, that is actually you." He was like, "No, that's the Panic Inc. guy." Yeah, I'm just a standard man, so that's. I look like everyone.
Right, yeah, the guy's called Cable Sassa. If you get a Google Cable Sassa,
that's the one. Yeah. That's the one.
Okay,
have you not looked this up?
I think I've done it before, but you know what my memory's like. I feel like I've had this conversation.
Yeah, we have.
I used to get Chris Martin all the time, which used to do my head in, and now I get Macklemore all the time on the fucking channel.
I mean, definitely.
I don't see it, but fine.
Oh, come on, there's pictures I sent of you of his Instagram. I thought that was you in a wig. It's crazy.
The craziest one that I've seen recently is Gary Dutton and
that was
Wiggins.
Insane. That was insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. I nearly tweeted him that, but then didn't, and then noticed that everyone else did. It was
exactly the same thing. Yeah, I almost did exactly the same thing. All right, Lee Scoville. Given that Twitch streamer Ninja recently smashed the concurrent viewer record during his Fortnite collaboration with pop phenom Drake, what are the chances James Farley could team up with Snoop Dogg to claim the record for TCGS? I'm up for that.
What would they play?
Don't know.
Yakuza.
Death Jam.
Just Yakuza getting stoned off their faces.
Maybe some Rainbow Six Siege, that'd be alright.
Yeah. Get those outbreaks done.
Even better than the team I'm playing with at the moment. They're awful.
That's Snoop. And then finally, from Athene Allen, will Matt ever stop?
No, never stop. I'm going to keep going.
Never stop, never stopping. Yeah, that's it this week. What did you think of the emails?
Do you know what? There wasn't that many emails and tweets, which I think worked anyway, but the standard was high. I liked them. Good standard, some good comedy in there as well. So, yeah, appreciated. I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate y'all. Matt, let's go social media, mate.
I appreciate y'all. Follow us on Twitter, of course. All the usual bits. We've got a Discord. There's people talking out all day, every day, playing games of Fortnite and other games, whatever. So there's a link pinned to our Twitter account, or go to bit.ly/TGCS Discord. I'm on Twitch every Sunday night from 9, streaming some Dark Souls. I haven't got time to do a midweek one this week, but I'll be definitely back next Sunday for that. And of course, we love and really appreciate any of your reviews on Apple Podcasts. So think about dropping us a review over there if you haven't already. And why not just tell a friend about the show? If you've got a friend or someone you know who likes games, tell them about a show. More people listen to it is what we want. So please do that.
Tell a friend. Also, quickly before we go, a little bit of an apology for last week. The show went out a day late. Matt almost had a meltdown about it, like a complete meltdown. You took that way too seriously.
It's unprofessional, and I wasn't happy.
It felt a bit weird though, didn't it? Because it was like everyone was like, "Fuck that kind of sucks," but we'll deal with it. I'm sure everyone will understand. I was like,
he
Matt's
just kept
really,
going, I'm livid.
Yeah, I was like, man, I know Matt's like very professional guy and very like together, even the way he dresses and everything like that. But this is still a bit extreme. Then I listened to the show, and there was a bit where you talked about you're doing your Dark Souls stream tonight. And obviously, if the show then went out on Thursday, you weren't going to be able to get that boost on your Twitch. And I was like, I think I figured it out.
That's what it is.
No, it wasn't that.
Bollocks.
No, because people see it on Twitter anyway. It's just, I just thought it was embarrassing.
John, is it now a good time, after getting repeated messages from Matt going, I'm fucking livid, I'm livid about this, is now's a good time to remind Matt that he said not too long ago that he was a laid-back guy? Is that the phrase that he used?
I'm laid back in some respects, but I just think it's a bit embarrassing. One other thing I forgot to mention, actually, is that we're doing a live show in London in April. We're doing a res.
That's coming around so quick, isn't it?
Tickets.
It's around 2 or 3 weeks now.
It's 3 weeks. Yeah, so go to egx.net/resd. We're doing a live show on Sunday, 15th of April at 4:30. We're basically closing resd. And yeah, get your tickets and come and see us do some stuff live.
I notice how you're a gamer and the EGX, they haven't really announced it yet. If they've left that off, I'm worried that we're going to turn up and there's going to be security at the door.
Yeah, it's just going to be people
with Chris Pratt
folding up all the tables, stacking the chairs. No.
Yeah, you ain't coming in. We listened to the show after agreeing to let you do a live one, and we've changed our mind.
No,
thanks
the
for
truth
living
is we've
it.
sold over half of the res tickets directly through us, so thank you to everybody who's bought them.
Yep. We're going to need a bigger room. Thanks for living it. We'll catch you next week. Have a lovely weekend. Goodbye.
Letters, y'all.
Lovely weekend.
Yeah, well, people listen to this at the end of the week, don't they?
I guess so. Have a lovely weekend.
Have a nice Christmas.
Have a good... I was going to do that, you twat.
Okay, are we done? Can I press stop, yeah?
No. Goodbye.